Hey guys, welcome back to some more broadcasts. And today I'm gonna be joined by Arnar Horror Hunter
What's up, fellas?
and Andre and Chris Brock will be here in a second. I sent them two messages on Facebook, and hopefully they can join the session. But for right now, it's gonna be me and Arnar Horror Hunter talking about the Friday the 13th franchise and talking about how much of an impact it had on 80s slasher films. So if you want to, you can tell what you think about how it had impact on the 80s slasher films.
All right. Well, as I understand it, Friday the 13th was one of those that really started up sort of the cycle of 80s slashers. So, yeah, you had stuff coming around basically at the same time or right after that either capitalized on Friday the 13th or were sort of going with the same ideas as Friday the 13th. Stuff like, Prom Night, Terror Train, um,
My Bloody Valentine.
My Bloody
That's
Valentine. That came out right after. I think that was 81. And then, what else was there? There was,
Silent Deadly
Matt.
Night, which came out in
Oh, yeah.
'84.
Yeah, Madman came out in 1980. There's a few of those that came out in 1980, but Friday the 13th, I think that just the the perfect synthesis of Halloween and those sort of like early Dario Argento,
Mm-hmm.
Giallo movies sort of created that perfect sense of 80s slasherdom. And
Yeah,
once you put all that together, then you had Friday the 13th. And as the first Friday the 13th came out, it was just off to the races from there. I mean, there was, of course, the Friday the 13th sequels that came out every year except for, I think, 1983 was the only year in the 80s that didn't have a Friday the 13th movie. Well, there may have been another year. Yeah, 1987. All except for 83 and 87, there were Friday the 13th movies through the whole thing. So just the fact that it was consistently, profitable, I guess, showed other studios other than just Paramount that you could have, whatever little slasher movie you could get, it's gonna make money. It convinced people to make more of those little slasher movies, and the big studios would take on, the work that the littler studios would do and distribute them and make themselves a ton of money and get the people who had, those little slasher movies, um, started in the business, get them a little bit more famous, perhaps, and definitely started a ton of great careers, man. I mean, Friday the 13th was just, I think, all right, Halloween for me is my favorite horror movie, and I would say that it's probably the most important horror movie of the 70s and 80s. Um, just the fact that it sort of synthesized all the slasher elements together for the first time and made it
mm,
profitable. But Friday the 13th took that almost, I would say, a step further because they added that element of gore.
yeah,
With Friday the 13th, it started that era of, it's not the actors that are the star, it's not the director that's the star, it's the special effects man that's the star. I mean, Tom Savini was going on the road and promoting horror movies, and he'd be the guy to promote them. They wouldn't have the actors out. They'd say, "Oh, this is Tom Savini. He's the guy doing the makeup effects for, I don't know, The Burning or whatever." And
hmm
that's what that's sort of what Friday the 13th did for people. It made the effects guys step up. Um, so I think, yeah, Friday the 13th had to be at least the most influential slasher of the 1980s. The first one, and then I would say the next most influential out of at least the Friday the 13th series would be the third one. Um, the second one is sort of more or less a ripoff of A Bay of Blood, also known as oh shoot, Twitch of the Death Nerve,
Oh
by
yeah, I heard
Marvin
about that
Bava from the
film.
70s.
And
Yeah,
also
that's
the fact that mask that the Jason's not got the hockey mask, he got a sack on his on his head is from
yeah,
that what's it called? The Town That Dreaded Sundown. I think did that
yeah.
before that film.
By the way, have
I
you
think.
seen that movie?
No, I've been wanting to see it, but I can't find it anywhere. I can't find it on DVD. I can't find it on Hulu or Netflix. I don't know where to
Yeah.
watch it at.
All right. The only way you're gonna be able to get it is the Scream Factory Blu-ray, and
Mm.
unfortunately, it's pretty expensive. It goes about $20,
Oh
brand
yeah.
new. But if you do buy it, it's a pretty good movie, and I wouldn't really call it. I wouldn't really even call it a slasher movie. I'd call it more a serial killer crime movie, mystery
Yeah.
kind of.
I
But
did see the
it's definitely
remake that came out. I did see that the 2012 or 13 remake that came out. I did see a little bit of that. I didn't see all the way, but I seen like
yeah
about halfway of it, and it was actually pretty decent. I mean, it had some decent gore effects. It kept it practical, which I always
yeah
love that with horror films now
yeah
that keep it practical because it's a good look back at other slasher films in the past that did this. Because I think that practical effects in horror movies are better than CGI. Because when you look at CGI, especially in horror movies today, it's just not done that very well compared to when they use
yeah.
practical stuff.
Looks cheap. Looks cheap.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
but anyway, yeah. If you see the original, it's pretty darn good. It's Charles B. Pierce, and if you've seen anything from him, like uh, The Legend of Boggy Creek or something like that, it's all documentary style. So it's sort of a precursor, sort of to Blair Witch Project and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Sort of along the lines of Cannibal Holocaust and stuff, but not quite as gory or anything. But
Yeah, I
it's a
heard
pretty
about
darn
that
good movie.
film. I heard about that film, but I'm not. I don't think I'm gonna watch it until I get prepared for it because I know people out there saying, "Well, there's worse horror movies than Cannibal Holocaust," but I've heard a lot of insane stuff about that movie.
Yeah, yeah. It's at my local Hastings store for rent, and I haven't got the guts to spend the 49 cents and rent it just yet, you know.
Yeah, it's
But
just I've heard a lot. I've seen it on Hulu. It was on Hulu for a while,
yeah,
and I was just like, "Ed, should I watch it?" And then when I finally got up the courage to watch it, took it off. I think so. I was like, "Really?" I get ready to watch. I go in there, I search it up. I'm like, "It's not on there anymore." They took it off. I'm like, "Really,
yeah,
man?" I
yeah,
was like, "Man, I got prepared for it and everything."
yeah. Anyway, getting back to Friday the 13th, though, yeah, part two was a little bit more of a ripoff, but and though I think part two may actually be next to the original, it may be my favorite. It's close up there, but and
Yeah.
then but what I was talking about is part three. I think is the most influential because you finally got that hockey mask, and that just
Hmm.
meant that every other you know really low budget Z level slasher movie could get something really cheap like a hockey mask or um, a catcher's mask from baseball or something, stick it on their killer, and it'd be a success because people would think, "Oh, I remember that one movie with the guy in the hockey mask. Maybe this is it." And they go pick it up to the video store and realize,
And
"Oh
it would
crap,
not be that.
that
Yeah.
wasn't it. This is a horrible movie."
Yeah.
And
I did see
but
one of the movies out there. It was called like Bloody Massacre, and it had a guy in a hockey mask, but it was not Jason.
yeah,
It was a ripoff. I was like, this is
dude,
stupid.
Dude, I had the chance to actually buy that today. I was at Hastings and I was looking through the horror section because they had like all 3.99 all used DVDs 3.99, and I was like, "Oh, that's a pretty darn good deal." And I see Bloody Murder 2 and I'm just like, "I think I'm going to pass on this one. Just go on."
um, but I think that Friday the 13th. It it's I'm just if you guys are wondering like why I'm so jittery, it's because I'm talking about a franchise I love here. This is a franchise I love, and it's just I love the impact this one little film. Try to get it out. But the first film, that's the second film. The first film had on I mean, just everything after it. I mean, you seen My
Mhm.
Bloody Valentine. It just a lot of films after this sort of had a formula that Friday the 13th sort of built. And even though films before, like Psycho, was probably considered the first, I don't know if they
Mm.
considered the first slasher film, but it had somebody getting stabbed in it.
Yeah.
And
I'll talk about my
um,
opinions on that here in a minute, but
okay, but Psycho was a big part of it. I know my favorite film over there, Texas Massacre, was a big part of it because it put together the whole teenagers going to a house and finding somebody there and they getting killed and kidnapped. It put up that formula. Halloween, I agree with you what you said. It established a formula And Friday the 13th, I mean, even the makers said they wanted to rip off Halloween, so they wanted to do the same formula, but they, like you said, they added gore to it, so it made it that much different. And having it in a different setting and having a mystery killer behind it, which if you watch it now, it's not really much of a mystery anymore. But you know, back in the day when people watched it, it was a big reveal, and you know, it's just crazy how now, you know, it's just become iconic. And back in the day, they just shot this on a very low budget, and Sean Cunningham, the guy from Last House on the Left, just was making a couple of short films, or not really short films, but like not anything as big as Friday the 13th before this. And it was just crazy.
My understanding is that he was making a combination between children's movies and porn movies, and that was his entire career, which is horrifying when you think about it. But yeah, my girlfriend's actually here sitting next to me, and she's got this look on her face, the fact that Sean S. Cunningham is just a horrible human being with children's movies and porn movies. But anyway, but yeah, definitely Friday the 13th is that kind of movie that it came out at just the correct time. It ticked just the correct people off, and just influenced the right people. Oh yeah, I think the biggest part about Friday the 13th is the fact that it just ticked like the critics off so much. I think it was nominated for Razzie Award that year for worst movie.
Razzie Award?
Yeah.
What? That's crazy, man.
I mean, I guess they just thought that 1980 was some kind of golden year. And you know, it's kind of weird because that movie was nominated for a Razzie Award, didn't win it, thank God. But it was nominated for a Razzie Award, and yet it's the horror movie that has become probably one of the most influential of all time. I would put it at least in the top 5 most influential horror movies ever. And it outsold The Shining. The Shining made a ton of money, but
The Shining, Dressed to Kill, Empire Strikes Back, it made more than that. That's a Star Wars sequel, guys, and this made even more money than that. That's impressive.
Yeah. Friday the 13th was a phenomenon back then. And the thing was, even leading up to, all right, I full disclosure, I'm a 90s guy. I was born 1995, grew up in the late 90s and early 2000s, and every year just about, there would be that one kid on the playground who would tell me about this guy named Jason. And it's just that sort of universal thing that everybody can latch onto. Little kids latch onto it. Whether you think it's right for little kids to latch onto it at that age or not is sort of dependent. But yeah, man, it's one of those weird kind of phenomenons that just hit, and it's just that perfect kind of combination. Now, Friday the 13th is far from being one of the top greatest movies ever. I mean, let's admit it. Friday the 13th, we love it to death, but it's not, it's no Oscar movie.
Technically one of the best films of all time. It's not technically one of the best ones,
Yeah.
Just the way that it's shot and stuff.
Yeah, it's one of those that just had enough style and enough sleaze and enough, insanity in it, I guess, to just make people latch onto it. I don't know. It was one of those really great movies. So Nate, I know this is your show, but I do want to ask you one question.
All right.
What's your favorite Friday the 13th movie? And if it's the original, what's your favorite sequel?
My favorite Friday the 13th would have to be the one that everyone pretty much hates. I mean, it's not as bad as other films, but I mean, I'd say Jason Goes to Hell gets hated more. Jason X gets hated more. I love this film. I love everything about it. I love this film. Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. This is my favorite because it was the first one that I saw all the way through. Not only that, because I just love how fun of a movie this is to sit through. I mean, it's got a lot of stuff going for it. I mean, if you watch a movie for practical effects and gore and body count, it's got that. It's got creative kills. It's got a great atmosphere. I love the characters in the movie. They're so fun to watch. And I actually like the idea of there being an imposter Jason, because everybody says, well, it's not Jason. It's not Jason. I'm like, well, technically he is in the movie because he's in dreams, but I know people give me a lot of crap for saying that. But, you know, I like the character of Roy being a paramedic. I just love this film. And I know it's a film that everybody hates. I know there's some people that actually enjoy it, but, you know, it's one of those ones in the series that gets looked down on. It's definitely with Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X, but I hate Jason X. I hate that film. I hate Jason X more than that. I can't stand that film. But this, I think it's actually really fun.
Yeah.
What was the other part of that question?
Let me tell you. What's that?
What was the other part of that question? It was my favorite, and then what else?
I said, and if your favorite's the original, what's your favorite sequel? But I think you already answered that technically.
Yeah.
Part 5.
Well, I love the original film as well. Hang on, let me send Andre an invite. He just sent me a message. All right, the original film, I love it. I love the original film. It's definitely probably my third favorite. My second favorite would probably be part 3 or 2. It's kind of hard to pick. And then my fourth.
Those two sort of go back and forth.
Yeah, it's just like 3 and 2. They're somewhat similar, but I like 3 because of the 3D effects. It's fun to watch it for that. It's so cheesy, but yet so fun to watch.
Oh,
Part 2, it's like it's kind of a rip-off, but still, I like the idea of I love the look of Jason, which if you guys look up there, I kind of have an action figure of it, but I don't know if I'm going to take it down yet. Yeah, I bought it for $30. I mean, you know, compared to the other ones, it was pretty cheap. The other ones were like $80. I was like, yeah, this is kind of cheap compared to other ones.
Yeah. Well, really quick, let me let you know one thing. I mean, like I said, part 2 is one of my favorite ones. I mean, it might be my favorite sequel. I just say that it's a ripoff because it's got a lot of those similar elements. But at the same time, I think I like it a lot better than Bay of Blood / Twitch of the Death Nerve. I think it's 10 times the movie that Bava's movie was. I love
RS Horror Man?
Yep, what? I'm back.
RS Horror Man?
Yeah,
what is up, man? Finally, you joined the freaking guys. It's like that surprise entry in the Royal Rumble, guys. RS Horror Man is from the broadcast. What's up, man?
What's up, man? How you been?
Freaking awesome, man. How you doing, man?
Good. How you been? I haven't seen you guys in a while. I haven't been on YouTube because I kind of quit because I don't know, like, me and reviewing movies and everything just kind of, I don't know. It hasn't been that, like, I don't know. It just hasn't been for me. But I'll probably, like, come back and maybe do some other stuff. I don't know, but how you guys been though?
We've been good, man. R&R Horror Hunter, he started up a new channel called Red Button Cast Channel, which if you guys have not checked out that channel yet, subscribe to that channel. I cannot wait for some freaking videos of that, man. I cannot wait. But I'm like, really, you guys just like, woo! I'm really excited right now. But
yeah.
I haven't seen you, man, I haven't seen you, RS Horror Man, a whole year, man. It's great for you to be back on here and doing it and being part of this broadcast, guys. RS Horror Man is here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
we're talking about the Friday the 13th film, so you know.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. I didn't really watch a lot of your videos, I'll be honest, but the stuff that I did see was definitely quality. And I'm glad you're here to talk about the Friday the 13th movies with us. It's awesome franchise, obviously.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was I talking about?
I don't know.
Yeah, that kind of blows it out of the water, man. I think I was talking about part 2, but I was saying, you know, I think part 2 is like 10 times the movie that it was ripping off, you know, Twitch of the Death Nerve. But I just think it's 10 times that movie, and it's, I think, probably the darkest Friday the 13th movie that's ever been out there.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I'd say it was like maybe my 3rd or 4th favorite of the series. I don't know, but I like the second one. I know they changed the burlap sack mask instead of to the hockey mask because they thought the burlap sack made him look too much like a monster, and they made it like too dark, and it was just kind of it was like too horrifying. So I thought that, yeah.
I also think it was bad timing because, I mean, the Elephant Man had just come out. And he, in that movie, the Elephant Man wore like a burlap mask over him, and he was this, this kind of character who was actually a really sweet character and nice and everything, but sort of, dumb and Frankensteinish, Frankenstein monsterish, really a sweet kind of guy, but just looked evil and horrible and stuff. Like I am a man, I'm not a monster, or I am not an animal. And people just sort of imagined, I guess, Jason doing that same kind of thing because, people were just looking at it like, oh my gosh, it's the Elephant Man running around stabbing people with pitchforks. But, yeah, just bad timing on that, I think.
Yeah, I enjoy part 2 because I really love the special effects for it. It's not up to what Tom Savini did, especially the kill in the original film, which is probably one of my favorites, where two of them actually. The character Kevin Bacon getting the arrow through his neck, and the girl getting an axe to her face. Those are probably two. And here's Andre. What's up, Andre?
How's it going, guys?
We're doing good. We're just talking about the Friday the 13th films and how much of an impact it had on 80s slasher films. And yeah, we were on part. Well, we were on. I don't think we've actually started about. Have we started about talking about like the actual films yet? We're talking still about how it had an impact. Like I can't remember. I think are we talking about?
I kind of just caught it because you told me about it yesterday. I just now got on a few minutes ago.
It's cool, man.
I just caught it.
So we were talking about Friday the 13th Part 2, right, guys?
Yeah.
Part 2. All right.
Yeah.
But Friday the 13th Part 2. Yeah, we were just discussing about that. And you can give your opinions on it real fast if you want to. And then we'll get to the rest of you guys in a sec.
Well, Part 2 is definitely one of my favorites. It's probably one of the first ones I saw. I definitely love guys. I actually do like the look of Jason with the potato sack on his head, and the fact that he ran for part of the movie. I thought that was really cool. Some of the deaths, even though they were ripped off from like Twitch the Death Nerve or whatever it was, they were still cool. I'd love to see an uncut version of it, but I know that Paramount scrapped the footage. There's no way there will ever be an uncut release, but it is still one of my favorites to this day.
Yeah. And Arnar Horror Hunter and RS Horror Man, you guys got anything to say about Part 2?
It was solid. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I thought it was good. It's not. I don't think it's the best of the series. I'd say, like I said, it was maybe my third or fourth favorite of the series. But I don't know. I think it's better than like most of them in the series, which we'll get to. We'll get to.
Yeah.
You know, we'll get to. You know what I mean?
Speaking of Part 2, here's one of the older DVDs I've got. It's pretty much the same in this box set, but I like this poster. Really, really cool poster.
I got that box set, dude.
Yeah, really, dude. Oh, I just got this like a month, like 2 or 3 months ago. Actually, I got this. I did DVD.
I've had that for a few years. My channel partner Buffy Xenaman gave it to me.
Really? That's cool. It's really cool though, right? I mean, it's got a lot of features to it. I mean, right here. This right here has a lot of features on it. So it's pretty cool that I got it.
The new releases, the deluxe editions, are not that good. I mean, they're okay, but the covers suck. Like the articulate cover, and it's like a black cover, and it's like the second one, the knife is just like right here. It's this close to the camera.
Like I guess I got the deluxe editions only because I heard they got better picture and sound quality. Plus, the first film is uncut, but you know, you're right. These posters do suck.
Yeah, and the uncut version of the first movie, I swear, I looked it up. Only 10 seconds is extended in the whole movie. 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
The uncut version of the first movie. Yep, that's it.
Well, the problem with it is, when you have an uncut movie, generally the cuts aren't actually very long. It's just the shots where you actually get to see, say the knife going into a body. So like the first 10 seconds, I mean, yeah, it's almost like you're just watching a movie that has a slight addition to it, but I think it's actually worth it. I think the uncut edition is actually worth it to pick up. you actually see knife penetration and stuff like that, and it's
Yeah, I mean, the
it
first
works.
movie, the scene where the girl gets her throat slit, definitely, you can tell they added a lot more seconds to that. I'd say more like the impalement, the more bloodier death scenes got seconds added onto it.
The one I was going to
Yeah.
say, that the only one I could really notice in the uncut version was the Kevin Bacon being added to. Maybe it's because I've seen the first one so many times, I don't know, but Kevin Bacon's that's the only one where I really noticed anything added to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can see him writhing around a little bit more, and it becomes almost a little bit more comedic, especially if you see the uncut version on Blu-ray. You can definitely see him just like writhing around with his weird Kevin Bacon face, you know.
And you can see the
with,
plastic
you know,
neck
with,
right
with
here,
the
or
prosthetic, with the
rubber.
prosthetic that looks like totally different than his actual skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
They
film
made-
needs another
it
That
looks-
version.
sort of brings me.
This
Yeah,
film
it
needs
looks
Sort
so
of
another
brings me to
obvious.
another question, guys. So, like, what do you guys think, like, is your favorite kill from the first movie? Because that's, I mean, that's obviously the star of the movie, right? I mean, it's the kills. So what do you guys think is, like, the best kill in the first one?
Well, I'd say my favorite probably would be the Kevin Bacon arrow to the neck, good gory death scene, or the girl with the axe in her face, because it just that effect, like Brandon, you don't see it go in her face, but just the after effect. I like the Tom Savini design to it, and it just really looks like it's really in her face. It was definitely a good death scene, but the Kevin Bacon one's my favorite.
I think I'm going to be the odd man out here, and I'm going to say that my favorite is definitely Mrs. Voorhees, the decapitation.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah, pretty good. I don't
That's
know. I
a
thought it
good-
was weird the scene
the
with
slow-mo.
where she's like grabbing, like you see her hands and her hands are like hairy and it's
Harry.
Because
Yeah,
it's Tom Savini's assistant, actually. And he
Was
has
it
Freaking
Fonzo?
hands attached to him with
His name
toothpicks.
Fonzo or
Yeah,
something like that?
Tassa.
Fonzo.
Toss it.
Tassa, not Fonzo. I don't know where I got that from.
Tassa Serrano
Yeah.
was his name.
I've got
I
to
don't
see.
know. I always thought that was weird. I'm like, it's not her hands. It's just I don't know. I thought that was funny. And then she's like, I don't know.
Personally, I think my favorite is the axe to the face that Marcy gets in the bathroom.
That was definitely a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I wanted to add something. Did you know that Tasso is actually starting to go to conventions now?
Really? Yes?
Tasso's starting to go to conventions. I mean, I don't think he's not going anywhere near where I am, you know, Central Kentucky, but I think he's started doing a couple, you know, around the nation and stuff. I heard Dead Pit talk about it, you know, soon before they quit their show. But yeah, I heard some stuff about Tasso starting to do conventions, which is some pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah. I planned to go to the Indie Horror Film Festival in Tennessee, but the funds, it would have been a lot of money to do that, so we had to cancel the trip. But we did go to the zoo, so that was so fun.
They don't have any conventions where I'm at in my area of northern Michigan, but the nearest one to me is probably Motor City Nightmares down in Detroit, which is about 3 hours south of where I live.
Yeah, I would have driven 6 hours from where I am to get there, and I would have had to pay for, well, my mom, because I was going to go with my mom, we would have to pay for gas, we would have had to pay for it to get in there, and we would have had to pay for it to get a motel or a hotel, whatever, down there, stay there for a couple days.
That's what my mom and I were going to do one year because we had planned to go to Motor City Nightmares. It was a couple years ago. PJ Souls was there. A lot of people from the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise were there, like Heather Langenkamp, Lisa Wilcox. There was just a bunch of good people there that year. And the main reason my mom wanted to go is because of PJ Souls being there. She actually wanted to tell her that she got what she deserved in Carrie.
That's hilarious. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like signature things.
If you guys can,
Oh, man.
if you guys can make it down to Scarefest, you definitely should. Scarefest is going to be pretty darn good this year.
I was gonna go there last year. I believe it was actually Angus Scrimm's last convention.
Yeah.
I was gonna go there, but the funds, you know, just it takes a lot of money to go
I understand.
there.
I understand. Like the only reason I'm going is I was convinced because Felissa Rose is going to be there from Sleepaway Camp, which
Oh,
we
I
can
haven't
actually tie
seen
into
that
Friday
movie
the
yet.
13th. Total rip-off movie. But
It is.
but
I
it's
haven't seen
also a
that. I
really,
haven't seen 2, 3, or
Times.
the sequel.
yeah.
Huh?
I've
I
actually talked to
love,
Felicity Rose on Facebook a couple times. She is really cool.
yeah. Yeah, I hear she charges really cheap for autographs too, and
Seems
She
hotter.
does. And from what I heard, if you don't have money, she'll sign for you anyway. She's mainly
yeah,
just there to meet fans, not make money.
she's supposed to be a really sweet lady, and I actually bought. Let me actually go mobile here to show you guys this, but let me show you my Sleepaway Camp poster that I got just so she can sign it
That
eventually.
is wicked.
That's cool,
Yeah,
man.
well, it's not.
I don't got any
It's
poster
not
besides
like
the ones
it's.
behind me.
It's not like it's any
The-
huge, guys, but I mean, pay $10 for it so you can get a little 11x17. Not too bad. Little
I used to
mini
have
poster,
Anchor
but
Bay DVD editions, and when I was talking to her on Facebook, I had asked her if I sent her my DVD, if she'd sign it for me, and she said she'd have to talk to her agent about it, but it could probably be done. But then what happened was after I moved, because I'm not living with my mom anymore, I'm actually in my own apartment. I trusted a friend of mine to store some of my movies, and she screwed me over. I lost like 5 boxes of my collection, a ton of my horror. It was just a disaster.
no, that's awful.
I don't got any like actual movie posters. I got one for The Dark Knight Rises, but I got that at a fair. So I mean,
I
little
had
darts,
one
throw 'em at
for-
the balloons, popping
I
the
had one
balloons.
for
Got that
Scream
from there.
2 when I went to see it in the theater.
I didn't see it in theaters. I got it actually after I got it for DVD. But I've got those are pretty much the only posters I got, and they're not really posters. They're just like DVDs. They're like DVD guides
Yeah.
or whatever. But I just did that because I thought it would be a neat idea. But I'm gonna add
Hey.
more and more.
I was definitely going to say when it comes to Friday the 13th, I have kind of a nostalgic story about it. The first time I saw it was actually on cable. USA used to run this show called Up All Night, and a lot
Yeah.
of times, some weekends it'd be a Friday the 13th marathon. It'd be like 1, 2, 5. I don't know which other ones, but I do remember 1, 2, and 5 being shown almost constantly. And I think that was actually the first time I saw part 2.
I was gonna ask you guys what nostalgic things you guys have to say about Friday the 13th, because mine is I watched 1 through 3 when I was a kid because my mom told me when I was a kid these aren't as violent as stuff that was coming out at the time, and I got to see the first film, the second film, and the third film. Mainly the first and the second and third film a lot. We go get it from Blockbuster, which is no longer, and at least in Ohio, is no more Blockbuster, but we used to go get Blockbuster. We used to go to Blockbuster and get a lot of horror movies like John Carpenter's Halloween, Child's Play. Seen a lot of Bride of Chucky when I was growing up, and but I never really saw the first 3 movies all the way. I just sort of watched them here and there, and I was a kid, so I didn't remember it. And it was years later. I'm saying like I was probably around 10 or 11. And I had watched the Friday the 13th marathon on AMC. It was the Fear Fest. And it was the ending of part 4 where it cut right to where Tommy Doyle was going, die, die. And then part 5 came on the screen. And I watched part 5 through part 2. And I loved 6 and 7. Well, I love 6. 7's okay. 8 is... I used to think it was but honestly 8 now is looking pretty bad. But I seen the first one I seen all the way through was part 5, and I loved it. I loved the film. That's one of the big reasons of why I loved it. It was the first movie that I watched all the way. And then I later on got this, actually a couple of months later got this DVD pack, and I've had it since. About 5 years I've had this, so
We never had Blockbusters in my area of Michigan. It was always these little mom and pop shops where you could always find some of the most off-the-wall stuff. We had this one. It was about 5-6 miles from my house called Classic Video. They had one of the biggest horror selections in town. I mean, they had all the Nightmare on Elm Streets, all the Friday the 13th, most of the Halloween movies. They had pretty much everything you could think of, and I think that was how I pretty much saw them all uncut because I used to go there and rent them a lot, and I'd watch them all with my grandma. 'Cause my grandma and my mom were huge horror fanatics. But actually, Friday the 13th was not my first horror movie, believe it or not. My first one was Nightmare on Elm Street, because my mom was a huge Freddy fanatic and still is.
I couldn't see that. Like, I tried to watch, because my dad, well, actually, I think it was, I can't remember if it was one of my aunts. I think it was one of my aunts who showed me, she showed me the first Phantasm, which I liked it, but as a kid, Phantasm is one of those movies where it's like a slow burn horror film, and when you're a kid watching it, it's sort of like, come on, action, action, where's the gore?
Right.
And so I watched Phantasm, and it kind of creeped me out. And the one that really scared me, though, and I could not finish, was Nightmare on Elm Street. And it was the scene where Freddy's face gets peeled off, and that great effect of the laughing face underneath of it.
I
Ran out of the freaking bedroom. I could not watch. I was like, ah.
I used to rent the first one from the public library all the time, and the first time I saw it was one day after school. I was probably like 7 or 8, and I'm watching it. As soon as I got to the end of the movie, I rewound the tape and watched it a second time.
I couldn't finish it the first time. I
I
got
was
to that
just
face
that
scene, and I was
into
like, oh crap, because the only ones I watched before that was maybe Child's Play 2, Friday the 13th. I didn't really watch a lot of really scary stuff, and as a kid, when you're watching that, it was just like,
I
holy
think
crap.
with Nightmare, though, the one that freaked me out the most as a kid was Dream Warriors. When Kristen's getting eaten by the Freddy snake, that scared the hell out of me as a kid.
Yeah, I've seen that one a couple. I didn't watch Nightmare on Elm Street once again until like a long time later, because I didn't start my love for horror. That was back when I enjoyed watching horror movies, but I didn't love to watch horror movies until I seen these films all the way through, until I seen Texas Massacre all the way through, all of the films up to at the time I only seen part 4, like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I had seen Nightmare on Elm Street all the way through, like all the movies in there. And that's when I got into horror films. I was like, heck yeah, this is great. I love watching horror films. Before that, I was sort of like, I like horror films. And then when I watched those films, it just was like, I love to watch horror films now. And I was about 11 or 12, and I was like, I love to watch horror films. So I was still a little bit young. I didn't watch the extreme stuff.
For me, it probably started around 7 or 8, because like I said, both my mom and my grandma were horror fanatics.
My mom's a huge horror fan, so I seen a lot of classics because, she rented Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween, but I had to keep my head turned to the entire movie, so I couldn't watch it. It's basically, it was like every minute, it's like, turn your head. I'm like, oh, yeah.
I watched that.
It's probably better you spent most of that movie with your head turned. That thing is almost unbearable to watch for me, at least.
I don't like the uncut version. I hate.
I'm like, I don't think you're gonna like it. And I said to my mom, I don't think you're gonna like this one. But she watched it with me. She actually liked it, and she liked it for the backstory, which is surprising because she loved the original. I'm like,
that's
you really like this
worst freaking.
The original? I'm like, seriously?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
She says she's because it delves into why he became the way he is.
Yeah, right.
But I'm like, really?
I think Matt, Rambo's wife, is a great Tyrannosaurus on
environment that's upsetting. I think it's more mysterious than the original.
Yeah, I mean, it was just the mystery behind Michael Myers was taken away.
Just snap.
Yeah, the mystery was taken away,
Yeah, I know people say it was in the TV cut, but what you gonna say?
Actually, I have the TV cut.
Oh, was it good? Because I haven't seen.
The TV cut actually
the
is
Halloween TV cut's awesome.
Huh.
The Halloween TV cut's my favorite way to watch it. It's really
Mine
really
too.
good. I love the extra scenes thrown in there.
I haven't the original or Rob Zombie's Halloween?
The original. The original one.
I haven't seen the TV cut
the
yet.
original TV cut is really darn good. If you get the big Blu-ray box set, it's included in there as an extra feature. It's a really fun movie. It just adds a little bit extra, especially the extra scenes with Loomis. Just add a little bit extra in there that you needed. Guys, I'm gonna be having to get off pretty soon here, but I did want to share real quick my nostalgic memory of Friday the 13th, like you asked. When I was a kid, I was about 13 when I really started getting into horror. I think around 5 years old was probably the first horror movie I saw, which was Spielberg's Jaws. My Aunt Carol showed me that, not really thinking that it was much of a horror movie. And of course, it scared the crap out of me. And then after that, I saw, some little stuff, Gremlins and episodes of Goosebumps, stuff like that. Basically kids stuff that, kids could watch if they wanted to get into horror movies. And then I got into Nightmare on Elm Street when I was about 13 years old. I bought the first 4 movies sort of on a whim because I'd heard they were good and I wanted to get into horror movies. And it was just off to the races from there. I watched all those movies. Then I bought 5 through 7 and, Freddy versus Jason and all that stuff. And then I think the next thing after I watched those was go to rent all the Friday the 13th movies. I think the first one I ever saw was Part 6. I bought it from a video store that was closing. I still have the same copy of it that I bought, and I won't get rid of it for nostalgic reasons. But yeah, it's a franchise that's really dear to my heart because I just remember sort of an amount of taboo, I guess, that surrounded them while I was, renting them from Hastings as I was, just growing up. And I think I finished them all within about a year or two. And yeah, that does include the remake and those last 2 New Line movies. And yeah, I really like the series. If you get rid of like the remake, which I personally think it's awful. I know it has its fans, but yeah, I really love the remake.
I'm a fan of it. So.
Well, I don't love the remake. Well, I'm sorry. I'm not
you love the remake?
who love it.
I'm like, what is it?
I love it, but I hate it. No, I love to hate the remake.
Yeah,
You love to
I
hate
love to hate it too. I think it's a bad movie. I mean, it was the script written by like Kevin Smith or Howard Stern or like who was it written by? Like it was everyone was like like it was bad, and then the uncut version, the scene in the mental hospital. I'm just like
Yeah, I'm not. I don't hate the remake. I can watch it, a decent time waster for the kills, and I like the lead character, but I mean, it's not great. It's not great in my opinion, but it's sort of, for me, it's decent. I like to watch it for the kills. I like to watch it for some scenes that were shot it's a very well shot movie. I think it's visually, it's very well done. And it was the first movie I seen in theaters. I didn't see a Jason movie in theaters until this film, so it was really cool for me and my dad to go see this in the theaters. And of course, I turned my head a lot, but still, I seen it in theaters. It was the first movie, and it was the last movie until Part 2 comes out, which is going to be like apparently nothing to do with Jason. So it's going to be like Halloween 3 sort of, I guess.
Who knows?
I guess.
Anyway, guys.
Like that with my mom, because when I was 13, she took me to see Scream 2 at a theater that was in a town a few miles away. And we had free passes that we won from the radio station, so her and I went to see Scream 2 because she knew I liked the first one. And she's like, oh, what the heck, I'll take you to see this one. And it was the last night they were showing it, and they had the poster, so I'm like, hey, can I have that poster? And the people who were running the theater at the time, they just gave it to me. And I've actually still got that poster to this day.
That's awesome.
Cool, man.
If Nev Campbell ever does a convention tour, you need to get her to sign that, no matter how much it costs, buddy. Anyway, brothers, I gotta head out. I've got some stuff I need to get back to. But guys, it was really fun, and I hope you guys have a great finish to the show. If you two guys, RS Horror Man and Andre, if you guys all of a sudden get a request, like a subscribe from a guy called Red Bang Cast Channel, That's me. Hope you guys subscribe back. We don't have many videos up, but hopefully we're going to do some more, and maybe we'll see if we can get a live cast in with some of you guys, because it's always fun to do live casts.
That's kind of what I've got going on too. If you see the Dark Elm Street Lagoon, that's me. There's actually 4 of us on my channel now.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't know. I'm just being solo right now. But yeah. So see you R&R Horror Hunter. Thanks for being a part of the broadcast, man. It's been a fun broadcast, and thanks for being a part of it, man.
Yeah. Peace out, man.
And yeah.
Thanks, brothers. Rock on.
Yeah, sure. Peace.
Yeah. See you, man.
Oh,
okay. So RS Horror Man, you want to talk about your nostalgic memories of Friday the 13th?
Yes, I would really like to do that. I saw the first one when I was probably about 8, and it was a movie that I really wanted to see, but my mom was like, "Nah, you can't see it, this and that, reasons." And then I went to this video store, and this was like I said, it was like a couple of years ago, probably a long time ago, but I went to this video store. It was like 2 blocks away from me or something, from my house. And then I went down to the store, and I was gonna buy it, so I decided to buy it. And I went with my dad, and I was like, can we get it? Can we get it, Dad? Can we get it? And he's like, I don't know, because your mother and all this. And I'm like, okay, but so we got it, and I didn't mention anything about it, and then I was like, Mom, I got this. I hope you're not mad. She's like, oh, it's okay, but I don't know. You ready to watch this? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to watch it. So I did, and I was like, man, this is really good. And then I also was like, oh, Jason's not the killer. It was his mother, and he wasn't wearing a hockey mask. Because this was the first one I had kind of seen in the series. Like, I saw Freddy vs. Jason a year or 2 before that, but this was like the first one of the series I had seen before to get the backstory. And I'll tie into this in about a minute of like how I saw them in a weird way. But I don't know. I thought it was at first I thought it was pretty good, but over the years going by, the franchise and everything, I can honestly say I'm not the biggest fan of the first film. It's not a bad movie. It's just I don't really like it. I think it is very overrated. And I know when it first came out, it did get a lot of critics bashed it, a lot of people bashed it, this and that. But I mean, I don't know. And then the whole thing with like,
have you seen the Crystal Memories documentary?
No, I haven't seen that. I know it's like isn't that only on Blu-ray? And it's like
it's actually a combo pack. It has Blu-ray and DVD in it.
Oh,
but when the came out,
this movie, and this is not very good. I mean, I guess it's okay, but this is the only documentary I own.
I liked his name was Jason.
The first Friday the 13th. He was so upset at this movie that he actually put Betsy Palmer's address in his review of the movie.
That's uncalled for. Like, I do rants, but I would never like personally like do that to somebody. That's like, that's like, there's a certain limit to doing I don't even think they call them rants back. I mean, you can call them a rant, but when I do a rant on a film, I just break it, but not give out the address and stuff like that. That's too far.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I was actually gonna get to that. I was because I know the whole thing with what was it? Was it Roger Ebert? It was like Roger Ebert and that they did that, and that was uncalled for, and that wasn't right. I mean, that's
it was
like
actually
saying
the other one, Gene Siskel.
What?
It was actually the other critic, Gene Siskel, not Roger Ebert.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was Siskel.
Yeah, Siskel and Ebert. Yeah.
But both of them hated Friday the 13th.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, there were parents also complaining about this movie. There were people saying how it was garbage. Not just. I don't think it was just Robert and Ebert. I think it was just like other reviewers out there who were saying like this was garbage. It was unwatchable above Halloween. But I think what made Friday the 13th really, really an impact on franchises, like on slasher films after this, because me and Arnold Horner were discussing this before you guys joined, talking about how this film had an impact on films after this, and how it had an impact on the 80s, and had an impact on slasher films after this, like Terror Train, My Bloody Valentine, and Silent Deadly Night. But Friday the 13th, what made it separate from other films that came out before it? Now, Halloween is a great example as well, because Halloween also laid down the rules. But like this is like the people say this a lot. People say that Psycho opened the door, and then as Texas Massacre came along and Halloween came along, they both sort of pushed it open a little bit. And then Friday the 13th opened the door for horror films after this, and that's why we got this flood of slash films that came out after this. Prom Night. Jamie Lee Curtis was in a lot of them, actually. She was in Halloween 2, Prom Night, Terror Train, a lot of them.
Here's what I think. I wouldn't say Friday the 13th opened the door. I'd say Friday the 13th kicked that door.
Kicked the door open, just freaking,
Yeah.
I don't want to say, I'm about to say curb stomped it open, but that doesn't make sense. But, freaking kicked the door open, and freaking a flood of horror films came out, slash films came out after.
Yeah. I agree. That would be a poor choice of words, Nate. That's the wrong thing. That's WWE. Right now we're talking about the horror movies. We'll probably do that in another video.
Yeah, right.
With Seth Rollins, the
curb stomping the door open.
Yeah, like Seth Rollins kicked open the door open for Friday 13th. Yeah, that happened. And John Cena started the found footage genre somehow. I don't know. That's why he does You Can't See Me and.
Yeah, because he's behind the camera.
Yeah, just random stuff.
Don't even get me started on found footage. I hate that genre so friggin' much.
There's definitely more that I hate than I like. I like the Blair Witch Project. Honestly, I don't like Cloverfield that much. I didn't really like it that much. I enjoyed Frankenstein's Army. It was okay. It wasn't really the best, but I think Frankenstein's Army was okay.
I sat through Project friggin' laughing.
Oh, I mean, it's definitely a very. You watch it now, it's like all it is people in the woods throwing rocks, and these people go and find an abandoned house, and then they just drop a camera. That's it. But I like the way that it's like just I don't know. There's a tension that built because when I first watched it, my dad kept telling me he was like, "Oh, it's real, and I was like, "Really?" And at the time I was a kid, so I didn't know the rules. That you couldn't release this on a freaking theater like that, it'd be illegal. But he was like, "Oh, watch it, it's real." I was like, "Okay, I'll watch it." And it freaked me out, and then he told me, he's like, I'm just playing with you, it's not real. I'm like, are you serious? I thought it was real, because it was just the way that it's shot, the way that it's acted. I really did believe that this was real footage, and it wasn't, but, my dad told me, he's like, oh, just playing around with you.
And I'm just like, this is where horror is going. I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Well, I don't blame people for hating it, I mean, it's definitely got problems.
Well, I haven't seen all the found footage films, but if you ask me what would be my favorites would be these are my top 4, and these are obviously the mainstream ones. Paranormal Activity, the Blair Witch Project, Cloverfield, and Cannibal Holocaust. I thought that was pretty good.
I'm sorry, man, but those 4 you listed, I friggin' hate.
I saw that movie.
If I was to review those, if I was to review those, I would turn into Ramble Rap, just going constantly off, probably for like 30, 40 minutes for each one of them. I hate those movies.
I have not had the guts to watch Cannibal Holocaust on Hulu. It was on Hulu for a while, but I got taken off. And if one day I finally had the courage to watch it, I was like, okay, it didn't eat anything, check. I got enough food around me, check. All right, so I was gonna watch it. I had the nerve to watch it. I got on there, they took it off. I was like, "Oh, you serious, man?"
Yeah, I know what you mean. I watched it on Hulu too. I was going through this phase where I was watching the disturbing movies. Like I saw Teeth, I saw The Human Centipede, I
did too. I actually enjoyed
Holocaust.
The Human Centipede. I actually thought it was actually a well done horror film. I was surprised because I seen part 2 first and I didn't like it. I was like, "This is stupid." The first movie, though, I really enjoyed. I was really surprised by it. I was like, heck yeah, this is actually a good movie. I was surprised by it.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Yeah, I
get
mean,
into them. I couldn't get
I
into
couldn't
those.
get into the second one. The second one was,
Kind of
you
movies
know,
like that I really like are the Saw movies.
all the Saw movies are. I mean, I like 1 through 4, 5 sucked, 6 was pretty good, 7 sucked.
I'm not really a big fan of the Saw movies. They're like those type of movies like Hostel, Saw, The Human Centipede. Was it Turistas? A Serbian film,
Oh God.
Martyrs.
I can't watch
Oh
it.
God. Oh God.
Salo.
Don't mention that film, please. I don't want to think about what I've heard about a Serbian film. Like I just freaking mentioned it.
That movie is like, that movie shook the world. It was like, I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen clips of it, and I'm just like, okay, I'll give it this. It shot well. That's it. That's the only thing. It looks really good from clips I've seen here and there, but I do not want to watch the movie.
I swear to you guys, I think that movie was one of Rambo Rath's hugest rants he'd ever gone on.
A Serbian film?
Yes.
I think I've seen the vlog he did. We talked about it, and I've heard that it's extremely freaking gruesome. But like Rembrandt said, I mean, it's just there's nothing else to it. It's extreme, but there's nothing. That's why I don't want to watch, films like Cannibal Holocaust and Salo. There's a film called Salo, which I don't want to see because they're just gore. And I don't want to see people getting castrated and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to see that and watch it. I love gore in films. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, oh, gore, I don't like it. No, I like gore in films. I watch Hatchet. I watch Laid to Rest.
I actually watched Martyrs once. And it's like, oh, what's it like when you die? And they're trying to find out what it's like when they die. And it's like, well, lie to the people. Tell them you saw something when you didn't. Friggin' lie to save your friggin' life, man.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that for like $5 at Walmart. Martyrs. In my Walmart, it's $5 on the freaking discount.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you serious?
I was actually thinking about giving that movie a chance before I knew what it was about, and I'm like, okay, so let me get this straight. It's about these people that they beat the crap out of women till they see the other side to come back to tell them what they've seen?
Pretty much.
That doesn't make any sense. It's like a mixture of like, I guess like a Serbian film and like Hostel or something, or I guess to the supernatural degree, or if you've seen it, it's like Hellraiser, and I'm just like, man, there's way too many of these type of movies. Like I said, I mean, like Hostel, Saw, and The Human Centipede are nothing compared to like probably the human, a Serbian film, Martyrs, Salo, what was it like I said, Turistas, all those type of movies, like those really sick movies. That's what I'm gonna categorize them as, like those sick like torture movies. Those.
I used to find out about those kind of movies through a guy named Emmer Provost, which I really enjoy his videos. They're definitely very, very well done. And I heard about his reaction and reviews on, Cannibal Holocaust, and that's how I found out about that. And I was interested because I was wondering, like, what is this film? Like, why is it so gory, blah, blah, blah. And I found out that the director got put in jail, he almost got put in prison or jail or whatever, because people were saying how his effects in that movie were real people dying. And he actually got put on trial because of it. I was like, whoa, this is crazy,
I think the craziest one for me was the director of Clown House. That guy should have been put in jail.
Oh, yeah,
what's the Clown House about? What's that about? The Clown House?
Oh, yeah,
it's about the director. These three guys escape from a mental institution, and they dress up as clowns and terrorize these kids. And one of them has a fear of clowns, so they basically use that to their advantage to terrorize these kids. And basically, what happened behind the scenes was the director got a little bit too hands-on, if you know what I mean, with one of the child actors. Was convicted, did not do any jail time, and is still directing to this day.
What the frick? That's like Jeepers Creepers. That's like the Jeepers Creepers director. I mean, he was a freaking...
He also directed that movie Powder, which...
With his head out.
That's freaking... messed
Yeah,
up.
Victor Salva, he took a page out of Roman Polanski. He did the same thing with a child, and then he flee the country or whatever. Well, they kind of did the same thing in a way, but that is sick. I mean,
Yeah.
That
it's
shouldn't.
bad
That's
enough
wrong.
it's bad if you got people making movies where they're taking away lives from real animals, and then you got people making movies
Yeah,
where people get tortured, but then you're molesting children. It's like, what's wrong with you? Just
yeah,
And
that's yeah.
speaking as somebody that happened to, it just makes me sick.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's just freaking, it's messed up, man. That should never happen, and
yeah,
especially in film. Film should be something that's safe to watch. Well, it's safe to watch, but safe to actually do a film. It should be safe to do a film. You shouldn't have
Right.
to worry about killing animals on set. I heard about a couple of cannibal films that people had actually said they're like, no, I'm not doing this. They had to get stunt doubles to kill the animals, and it was like just a
Yeah.
do shock. I mean, it just things
Yeah.
like that should not happen to do a
Well,
film.
it's like I said, shocks is not value.
Yeah, put a makeup effect in there and don't have real animals dying because,
Yeah.
it's just
Right.
nobody wants to see that crap, man. Nobody wants to see it. Man.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, there was this one movie that was made. It was called The Bunny Game, where it was about this guy who I think kidnapped a prostitute, and then he made her walk and made her wear a bunny suit. I haven't seen the movie. I've seen clips of it, and it's just it's I guess it's in the sense a lot of people don't like it because it's more annoying than disturbing. I guess because like the screaming and everything. But I heard like the actress, she had to like get burned or something to make it realistic in the movie, and then like I think someone like what happened? Like someone hit their nail or something, and I'm just like, and it was based off a true story, and I'm like, man, these people they do a lot for film in a weird way. It just, ugh,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't think anybody should get hurt like that if it's not by accident. If you get hurt by accident on a film, that's one thing. If you intentionally burn somebody or if you intentionally cut somebody and you know it's gonna happen, that shouldn't happen. They should make effects and be like, well, we don't have the budget. Then make a budget, get money, because it's freaking. You shouldn't be hurting animals and people just to
Yeah.
Well,
freaking
did
shock.
you guys hear they had to stop production on the new Resident Evil movie for a minute?
No,
No.
I didn't know that. I didn't know they were actually making another one.
on set.
What?
They had to stop production on the new Resident Evil movie for like a month because a stunt person died on the set.
He died?
Yes.
Holy freaking crap, man.
Man,
That's sad. Man.
I
Like,
don't know, dude.
man.
I would not mess with that movie. I mean, it seems like, especially like I know like there was I remember that movie The Exorcist had its problems in the production. I'm not going to get into it, but that movie kind of when they were making it, like even the Wizard of Oz movie when they were making it, they had problems like what was it? One of the actresses got burned or something.
Burned,
and I'm just
yeah,
like,
the
oh
witch.
my god.
She got burned. A munchkin got hanged on set, which you guys can see it's a legend, but still, like, people say there was a munchkin that got hanged.
I googled it, but I was like, I can't even look at the Wizard of Oz the same way. I'm like, okay, it's not that bad, it's not that creepy, but I look at it now, I'm just like, I'm kind of worried to Google it.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things. It's like, oh, it's like a creepy pasta. It's like, oh, okay. Why not?
I'm gonna be honest here. I'm gonna be honest here. That's like me with Poltergeist. I cannot watch the end of that movie the same way, knowing the backstory behind it. The scene where the mother is in the hole where they're digging the swimming pool, and all the skeletons are coming up out of the water. Those were real friggin' skeletons, and they did it because it was cheaper than getting fake ones.
Yeah, I mean, and I heard the actress had to go get, like, psychology sessions and stuff like that because that's how much it worried her because she had to go get therapy and stuff. That's crazy right there.
Yeah, the actress who played as what was it, Carol Ann? She died at the age of 12.
She died of a bowel obstruction before they could finish the third movie.
I know, and it sucks because I was sitting there, I'm just like, my God, that poor little girl, you know what I mean? Well, she was a teenager by the time, but still, it sucked that she died, and I'm just like, and
she wasn't the only one who died, though. The actress that played the oldest daughter in the first movie was murdered by her ex-boyfriend.
She got murdered with an axe, I think, was what happened. He killed her with, like, an axe or something, I think.
No, he strangled her from what I remember. Because
and then
E! True Hollywood Story on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, And the thing that even creeps me out even more is that they managed to touch that film and make a remake, and I'm just like, no, please. The last time that movie is cursed. Do not touch it. Don't
Yeah.
get near it. Just no.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I'm not even a fan of the first Poltergeist. I mean, I thought the ending was pretty funny when they go into the hotel room and the dad sees like the TV and he opens the door and then I think he throws it out, he pushes it out or whatever. He's like, and then he pushes it.
Yeah.
I thought that was
I mean,
funny.
I'm a fan of the first. I haven't seen the sequels. I've seen Part 3 a long time ago, but I can't really remember it that much. But
2 is okay, but 3 definitely has its problems.
I think 3 has a good idea, though. I like the idea of it being taken place on the mirrors and stuff like that. But I heard that it was just executed very, very sloppy. Yeah, very, very bad.
Yeah, I've heard Part 3 is pretty much like let me just say a couple names and you'll probably know what I mean. Like Exorcist 2.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Cabin Fever 2. The Descent 2.
Oh God, those movies all.
Yeah,
what was the second one? What was the second one?
It was Cabin Fever 2.
Oh, I hate that movie too. I just did around like 2 days ago, a couple days ago. But
the Descent 2 was pretty bad.
Speaking of Part 3s, talking about Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D. So what are you guys' thoughts on it?
It's another one I love. I honestly love the first 4. They're probably my favorites out of the franchise, except for probably Part 7. But if I have to watch them, I go 1 through 4, and then I jump to like 6 and 7. But Part 3, the hockey mask, just the kills were great. I can't watch the 3D version because it gives me headaches, so I've never actually seen it in 3D. But I do like the way it's executed in 2D because it looks so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, RS, what's your thoughts on it, RS?
I used to like it, but over time, I'm not the biggest fan of it. Again, I don't know. It seems like it was too much relying on like the deaths and not actually the actual characters. I mean, if it was me, if I made it, I would have had the lead girl live, Shelly, and was it Ali? The one biker was the the guy who the actor's name was Nick Savage, the black guy in the movie. I thought he should have lived. Shelly and the main girl should have lived. That would have been great, but
the main girl does live.
Well, I mean, she lived, but I guess you could say, like, she got probably psychologically damaged from it because she was like, oh, crazy acting. But I had to wear these when talking about Part 3. Part 3 is definitely... Hang on, I'm getting, like, a headache just looking through these. But Part 3 is... I don't know, it's one of my favorites. I like it because it's the same as Part... Well, not the same, but, you know, the same formula as Part 2. Sort of a similar formula. I mean, you know, Jason being
picking up right after Part 2.
Yeah, but like I think it's a little bit similar to Part 2. I mean, really enough, all the films are kind of similar, but you know, still, it's like this one has a different theme because it introduced for the first time the iconic look, and well, just the iconic look of Jason with the hockey mask, of course, but just. I always thought Part 3 had a classic look for Jason. Like, you think of the human Jason, that's what Part 3 is, you know?
Right.
Because, I mean, A, he has the hockey mask, and B, you know, it was before he got all the gashes and cuts and stuff like that. Like
right, and what I was going to say is the weirdest thing about 2, 3, and 4, if you look at the timeline of them, they all take place within a couple days.
So it's not really Friday the 13th.
Right. It's like if you look at 3, it's Saturday the 14th, and then if you look at Part 4, it's either Sunday the 15th or Monday the 16th. All 3 of them take place within a few days.
Yeah.
And when you look at Rob in Part 4, he looks like he's been looking for his sister for like a couple months when it's only been like maybe 2-3 days after the events of Part 2.
Yeah, he's acting like, that's funny.
I couldn't, another thing I noticed, I remember the part he had like the long black nails, and I'm just like, it's only been a couple days, dude. And like, I'm like, what is with the black nails? I mean, it was weird. He had the long black nails. I thought it was almost as bad as in the 8th movie. You know, Takes Manhattan, where he had the black gloves.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and then the mask that was like, the mask looked all yellow, like it looked kind of piss yellow. And then, I don't know, he was in the water most of the time, and we'll get to that. And then, oh my God, Jason Takes the Cruise Ship,
That's pretty much what it is. It should have been Jason Takes the Cruise Ship, not Jason Takes Manhattan. Or better yet, Jason Takes Vancouver.
Yeah, like, to me, I always kind of, the more I thought about it, I'm like, maybe
Hey, guys.
sank the Titanic. What did you say?
I'm gonna be right back. I gotta go help my dad get some groceries out of the car. I'm gonna go get some of the groceries, but I'll be right back. Okay.
All right.
Okay, sure.
In a sec.
Okay, so what was it? Oh yeah, it's maybe he sank the Titanic. The more I think about it, in the sense because he was on the boat, and I don't know. And the weird thing it made no sense is that there was like, it seemed like there was 80 people on the the boat, and then and then the worst part about it is that he killed like 8 people, and then I remember
Something like that.
yeah, it didn't really work. And then, like, I remember, like, 3 people were downstairs, so I think they died because the water, everything got flooded. But I'm like, there was all these kids, and it would kind of remind me of, like, Jeepers Creepers 2, when all the kids get off the bus and they run away, and you don't ever see them again. And then I'm just like...
Right. And here's something else that puzzles me. In the opening of Part 8, there's the 2 kids that are on that little boat or whatever, and Jason kills them. How does that boat get from Crystal Lake to the ocean where this cruise ship is?
Yeah, and then the whole thing about how he gets shocked by lightning and electricity, and I'm just like, man, this franchise, it's just, it was like this was like the 8th movie, and we had a lot of people didn't know it was gonna be. They have 4 movies to go. I guess this was gonna be the last movie. I don't know. Like he comes back to life like Frankenstein style. I'm like, you already kind of did that with the 6th movie, but okay, electricity, okay, I guess
Well,
maybe.
Here's the thing. Look at the sequels we got that year. 89, Friday the 13th Part 8, Halloween 5, Nightmare on Elm Street 5, all rushed into production, all had troubled productions, all did miserably at the box office.
Yeah, I mean, Part 8 was not that good. Nightmare on Elm Street 5, I think, is actually the worst of the series. Yes, I think it's worse than the remake, only because, I don't know, the 5th movie, Nightmare on Elm Street, was so lame and so boring and just so uninteresting.
Yeah, and
the remake at least.
And here's the thing, they took one of the strongest characters from the previous movie and turned her into a complete wuss.
Yeah, and then just everything, the movie felt like so flat and so cheap. And like, I remember the part I remember the most was when he's like stuffing the girl with like food, and I'm just like, okay, this is a stupid death.
All the deaths were cut by the MPAA. They went after that movie hardcore.
Yeah. I don't know, and then he's like, bon appetit, bitch, and I'm like, oh my God, and he's a waiter. What?
I said, even the one-liners in that one, I'm watching it and I'm thinking, really? This is where we're going now?
Yeah, and he's like wearing like a tuxedo and a waiter, and I'm like, he's supposed to be that,
isn't it?
Yeah, he only wore for like 10 seconds. And he didn't even kill her. It was herself killing her or whatever. They were stuffing her, and I'm just...
Right.
I don't know. And Halloween 5, I like Halloween 5, I guess, but I guess they wanted to make it more darker than part 4, but I'm just like...
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Part 4 had such a strong ending with the evil being passed to Jamie, and 5 totally negated that. Come on. Jesus, like this,
And I don't know, and part 6 of that movie was not good, especially the producer's cut. I haven't seen the producer's cut, but I already know the backstory about how...
I have the Blu-ray of the producer's cut, but I haven't checked it out yet. No, this is not your business.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I've heard that he does something to his niece, and and I'm like, is this The Last House on the Left? Is this I Spit in Your Grave? Is this, was it Girls Against Boys? Is this one of those type movies where it's like it's like that only minus it's just okay, the guy does this and then that's it? Because
Hey guys, sorry about that.
I'm like, did you really need that in the backstory and just
Why?
how he got his powers?
Did you guys have my brother in here?
Yeah.
From the cult.
Sorry.
So
Here, I'll
what
be right
do you
back.
think of that though, Andre? What do you think about that?
About what?
About the whole thing about Part 6 and
Oh, I
everything?
haven't watched the producer's cut yet. I bought it, but I
Okay.
haven't watched it yet.
Okay, well just
It's one of those I'm
Like I
trying
said-
to psych myself up to watch because I've heard so many mixed things about it. Like, I've heard more negative than positive, on my end anyway, from people I know.
yeah, me too. I mean, I haven't seen it. I don't really want to. And the cover now, it's like they changed the cover a couple of times. Like now it's orange or it's blue. Or I remember you can only get it at like conventions, and I just didn't care about
You
the.
could only get it at conventions because it was a bootleg.
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of weird how that happened. I know there was like I thought the second movie had like an uncut version or something. I don't know. Maybe it did. It probably had a work print version a long time ago that you can't find anywhere. But I don't know.
Find the one I have. Yeah, here's the Blu-ray of the producer's cut. I found it at
Oh
Walmart,
yeah,
actually,
yeah.
but I haven't psyched myself up to watch it yet.
Yeah, like I said, I was probably maybe gonna check it out, but I don't know. It's not really worth to me checking out. But
I bought it because it was cheap and I wanted it for the collection, which I
yeah,
love quite a bit of.
I know what you mean. I mean, I'm kind of a completist, but there's some movies I just want to own in my collection, and
Right.
this and that. I mean, just I don't know. But there's just been a lot of them that hasn't been great. Like it seems like, especially nowadays, all there is like remakes. There's like
That's
a
pretty
lot
much
of
it. It's like
like
remake
a lot
after
of
remake after remake. Nothing original anymore, hardly.
yeah, and it's not even like horror remakes anymore, because that was like the genre they would take on like every like week, because they did a Friday the 13th remake and Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street and Black Christmas
And they're
and
doing another Nightmare remake now.
what?
New Line's announced another Nightmare remake.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay! I think the franchise should be done. I mean, I would like to see another movie, I guess, but if they're gonna cast Watchmen in it, that guy, I don't really want to
Well, at
watch
the
it.
moment, Robert Englund is duking it out with New Line to do one more.
Oh,
He wants
wow.
to do one more.
Then I will definitely probably see that. When's the release date of the movie coming out?
There hasn't been a release date announced yet, but I think it's probably going to be next year, as far as I know.
That'd be great, because I know, like I said, just hasn't been a whole lot of good stuff coming out, and I know, like, there's a lot of, like, horror sequels that are coming out, like, there's gonna be it's gonna be a Ring 2 remake, or, no, it's the Ring 3D, my bad.
Ring 3.
Yeah, it's gonna be in 3D because, it's the Ring, and why not see it in 3D?
And I saw the Ring 2 in theaters. I was disappointed.
Yeah.
I went with Bud Xenaman to see that one. I was so disappointed in it because I loved the first one.
Yeah, I really liked the first one. But
All right, guys, I'm back.
I haven't seen.
We talked about the fourth movie yet, or what?
We've kind of just been going here random here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Woo! I just got done running.
We were talking about Jason Takes Manhattan, actually, and I was pointing out that 89 was the year of bad sequels. Because you had Jason Takes Manhattan, you had Halloween 5, and you had Nightmare on Elm Street 5, all rushed into production, all with unfinished scripts, all did terribly at the box office, you name it, everything went wrong.
Yeah, I seen Halloween 5. Halloween 5's okay. Nightmare on Elm Street 5 sucked. I don't like Part 8. I used to think it was alright, but I don't like Part 8, honestly.
Right.
Part 8, I don't like it.
Yeah, Part 8 had like a good concept. Like it could have been like Predator 2, where you have like Jason go in and just like he'd go around New York killing people, or he could have just fought like New York gangs and everything. I'm like, okay, this would be cool, but okay, it just happens. He kicks a boombox. They say, I can't believe he did that, or whatever they say, and then
they
say you're dead.
Run off like little chickens.
Yeah, he shows his face, and then they walk away, and then I'm just like, that's it. I also, maybe this is just me, but I heard that I this might have been a rumor, I don't know, but I heard they were gonna do another Friday the 13th movie, and it might star Rebecca Black. You know that chick who did that Friday music video? Yeah. That's gonna be horrible. That's gonna be so bad.
I've heard about that actress before.
They might have the theme song at the end. They're gonna play that and just I don't know. It's why I mean, what's next? They're gonna do a Nightmare on Elm Street movie with Taylor Swift. They're gonna do a Halloween movie with Kanye West. It's like, are you really that desperate for pop culture?
The Nightmare remake was bad enough. She ruined my favorite character.
Yeah, I didn't like Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Actually, for Cabin Fever 3, I needed a movie to punch, and I went to go grab that movie to punch, so I punched Nightmare on Elm Street the remake.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I had no other movie. I didn't have it the DVD, so I was like, I need to punch something. I'm gonna go punch that movie. But
yeah, I haven't seen Cabin Fever 3 or the remake that's coming out.
Talking about next. Part 4 will be the next movie we're talking about.
Okay, so do you want to start right now, or?
Or you can finish what you're saying and then talk about Part 4.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like
I said, I know they're making a Cabin Fever remake, and Eli Roth will probably be involved. And my God, that's another franchise that just needs to stop. I mean, that Final Destination and Wrong Turn, and yeah, I think that might be those like the three like mainstream like modern horror franchises that need to stop.
I heard they were Final Destination and Wrong Turn. Those are two franchises I actually like.
Yeah, I mean I like parts 1, 2, 4. I thought it was awesome. 5 was okay. 6 was okay as well. I don't hate part 6, but I have problems with it. I have problems with part 6 though.
Well, yeah. I mean, I love the first Wrong Turn. The second one is okay, but the more I think about it, I'm like, yeah, it might be a little bit better than the first one to a degree, but because it's more fun. The third film, like I said, I didn't like it. It was bad. That's another movie, missed opportunity. The fourth one has some good kills, has some good visuals, has some good cinematography, but other than that, I don't like it. And the fifth movie, I wanted to like, I hated it. And the sixth movie, I'm not watching. And Final Destination franchise, the first one's good, the second one's okay, the third one, was pretty good. The more I think about it.
The third one's my favorite.
I really like the fourth one. I know a lot of people don't like the fourth one. The fourth one would actually probably maybe be like my third favorite, but that's just me. I used to hate that movie, but I'm like, I had fun with this movie.
Racetrack?
What?
Is the fourth one with the premonition at the racetrack, or is that the fifth one?
That was the fourth one.
The fifth one about the bridge, about the bridge collapsing.
Yeah, the bridge. That's the fifth one.
Yeah. The fifth one, like I said, the fifth one I thought was watching it over again. I'm like, oh, another prequel. Like I used to like that movie. I really did. I thought it was the best of the franchise.
I like the first three. I love 1. I love 2. 3's okay. I seen 4. Actually, I think I seen 4 when it came out back in like 2009 or 10, whatever it came out. And I don't like 4. And I don't like 5 because I mean, 5's got some good kills, and it's also a decent twist. Hey, it was a prequel. But 5 and
Yeah.
4, they were just pretty much, you think about it more and more. Yeah, 5 was a prequel, but they're just rehashes of the other movies.
I get to this movie like it's a premonition. It's gonna happen again. It's like it's kind of the same movie, and then it's a prequel, and then they show a clip, and I'm like, I mean, I thought it was cool at the end of Part 5 when they played that AC/DC song, and they showed like all the kills from all the movies. I'm like, okay, that was cool. I'm like, okay, I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, because in a way they couldn't make a sequel because the 4th one was the Final Destination.
Right.
But they wanted to make sort of a twist movie. Like everybody thought it was going to be a sequel, ends up being a prequel, and that's the thing about prequels now is like, well, not even that. It's just like, how do you call it like Wrong Turn 5, but yeah, it's a prequel? I thought 5 meant, or I guess you could say it doesn't mean that, but generally when you think of
Wrong Turn, when you look at Wrong Turn, actually 4 is the prequel, and then 5.
Yeah, 4 is the prequel too.
Yeah, 5 is a prequel sequel. It's a sequel to a prequel, but it's still before the first movie, even though it doesn't really probably make sense because I don't know, just especially nowadays, it looks too obvious that this was probably shot.
The one time I watched Part 6, I was so confused.
6 was a sequel to a prequel as well. It's the third sequel.
It just had me so confused. I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah. But talking about, because I get it, like I don't really think there's any Friday. Is there any prequels to Friday the 13th? I don't think there really is.
No, there isn't.
One of those very few franchises doesn't have a prequel.
Thank God, right? I mean, just
look at Halloween, Rob Zombie's prequel part / remake, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of franchises with prequels haven't been that good, like Wrong Turn.
Nightmare doesn't have a prequel either.
What?
Nightmare didn't have a prequel?
The only thing closest to a prequel in terms of Nightmare on Elm Street is the pilot episode of Freddy's Nightmares, the TV series.
Oh,
that and maybe a little bit of Freddy's Dead. They tried to explain a little bit, like flashbacks and stuff.
Yeah, I love Freddy's Dead. Actually, I have so much fun with that.
Me too. I think it's so fun to watch.
I know that one too.
Yeah, I mean,
it's so fun to watch.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, it was great.
That was my favorite kill in that one. Be like, hey, Dad.
Well, like Freddy's Dead was the final nightmare. I'm not sure if Halloween had any of the final movies besides H2O. But Friday the 13th is Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. Of course, look at this, the final chapter. Really, the final chapter.
Paramount wanted to end it, but it made so much money.
Yeah, and that's why they made Part 5.
Right, and here's the thing with Part 5, because I watched the Crystal Lake Memories documentary. Corey Feldman wanted to keep going. He wanted to play Tommy again in Part 5, but Spielberg had contracted him for The Goonies. So that's why it's only in the opening scene.
Yeah, I know that they only had Corey Feldman for a few days or something.
They had him for like a weekend. They shot it in the backyard of his house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he was filming the Goonies at the same time.
I didn't know that.
To be honest, it looked like it. It looked like it really did. I'm just like, not that it was bad production, but I'm just like, it kind of looked like it. It was like, okay, he shot his backyard.
I didn't even know that, man. Like, I do. Yeah. But Part 4, you guys can give your guys quick thoughts on it, but I'll give my thoughts after you guys done talking about it.
Okay. Part 4, I thought was to be honest, I don't think I've ever really liked it. I don't know. It's just a lot of people say it's that and Part 6 are like their favorite, and we'll get to that. But Part 4 to me is, Corey Feldman is good. And the makeup effects are good, the kills are good, this and that, but I don't know, I felt kind of bored during the movie, and I don't know, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I know, like, a lot of people like it, and that's great.
I wasn't really... opposite. I love the final chapter. It's one of my favorites in the series.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Same with me, it's probably one of my favorites because, well, you had Tom Savini coming back, and the cool idea behind that is Tom Savini came back because they said, hey, you created Jason. How about you kill Jason? And as far as makeup goes, because Tom Savini got to kill Jason in this movie, because at the end of the movie they finally not really kill him, but they kill the human Jason at the end of this movie.
If you guys get the chance, get your hands on this.
I want to get it, but
Zombies
the thing is,
documentary.
it's really expensive, and I don't know if I can find it anywhere. I mean, I know you got to order it or something like that offline. But
Amazon.
can you find it? Can you find it anywhere like Walmart?
Amazon is definitely a place to get it. Amazon. But I pre-ordered mine.
Yeah.
Amazon?
Yeah. But I
Alright.
pre-ordered it off the website when it came out.
Oh,
So I
really?
have the bonus disc that came with it, because it's got mine has a bonus disc. It's got like 4 hours of extra interviews with it.
Hey, do you guys want to see if I can get Grim Reaper in here?
Yeah, why not?
All right,
Yeah,
I'll
sure,
find
sure. Yeah, sure.
Grim
I
Reaper
haven't
won't
talked to
believe
any of you
that
guys in
hardcore
like
one's back.
a year, so why not?
I know.
It's been a year, you know what I mean?
I know it's the same for me. I've taken close to a year off myself.
Yeah,
I know
I
it-
took a long time off. Like I took a year off, and then I came back last year. And
Yeah, to be honest,
I
it's
just
been fun.
don't
It's
know.
been fun kind of taking a break. I've had like, I don't know, it's been kind of like vacations. Like, okay, you know, I don't know. I don't know when I stopped. I thought, I'm like, you know, I want to take a break, and I felt good about it. I'm like, okay.
That's what I said, because I was getting kind of burned out, because I was in late night frights. I was doing my own stuff. I'm going week after week after week. I was just
Yeah.
like, I got to stop for a minute.
that's
Yeah.
understandable. I mean, it is a lot to be a YouTuber. If anybody out there thinks it's easy to be a YouTuber,
It's
it's
not.
It's not. It's
Yeah.
very time consuming. It takes a lot of time to do videos, and it especially when you do HD videos. Like, this isn't the most HD I can do, but like, I mean, it is as far as this camera goes. But I know there's more HD modes out there. But it takes me about an hour to about an hour actually to upload a video now, because I got it on HD mode again. But you know,
It
still,
takes,
it's like
it takes me
it
about
takes a lot
45 minutes
you
to
know,
an hour
for
for
videos.
mine, depending on how long they are.
Yeah, I know what you
It
mean.
used
I mean,
to be
unless
taking
you,
about 30 minutes on my older qualities, but I wanted to go back to HD because it's a better quality, and my subscribers were like, I'm sure they
Yeah.
wanted to see better video quality, so that's why I went back to it.
yeah, I know what you mean. Unless you like make vines, you know, vines are like 6 seconds. I don't think you're
Yeah.
really gonna want to.
No.
I mean, like even like people like the big YouTubers up, not like the big YouTubers. It takes them, I heard, like hours or 2 hours or 3 hours to upload stuff. And it's just like to do the graphics and this.
I
and
know,
that.
and then if you look at people like Rambo Rap for Life and OCP Communications, who are two of the guys that got me started, they're churning stuff out like almost every single day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same here. I really, really enjoy watching their videos. Really, really big
Yeah.
fans of those guys.
Yeah, they're doing like the 1980s marathon or whatever, and they're like
Yeah.
they're
I've
going through
watched
like
them.
every. Yeah. I remember.
Yeah, so if Red Bar for Life and Us Speak Communications, if they see this video,
Shout
if they
out
see
to
this
those
video,
guys.
we're really big fans of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're really big fans of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And like I said, it's just and like I said, being a YouTuber and all this and that, especially if you were like a reviewer and this and that, it's very time consuming. It's like it's not that easy, especially when you plan it out and you use a script and this and that. And I don't know. And it seems like a lot of times, a lot of people that like really work hard don't really get the credit they deserve. Like they don't get them a lot of subscribers and views and this and that. But I don't know. It just seems like because a
Yeah.
lot of people, a lot of
Right.
famous YouTubers, it seems like they get like millions of subscribers and all this and that, and it seems like they don't really do that much. And it's just I don't know. It's just kind of it is
Yeah.
Some of the
You know
bigger
what I mean?
ones to me are just kind of boring.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I literally started out from like literally just recording videos on my iPod. I think you guys might remember a long,
Yeah.
long time ago.
I do.
I was
Yeah.
doing videos on my freaking iPod, and it
Yeah.
took me literally 3 freaking hours to get those videos uploaded, and it was only like 15. Well, actually, I was doing 40-minute videos then because I didn't have a limit, I didn't have a schedule. I literally just got on
Right.
YouTube, and bam, I just started making videos, and
Yeah.
that's why I'm kind of glad I
I
deleted
was
some of
living
them.
off the West Branch when I discovered your channel.
Some of my videos, my earlier videos were kind of dumb, but I had some of them that I really enjoyed, and I really wish I didn't delete them.
Yeah,
But-
I had fun with a lot of your videos you made, like especially back in the day where you would get mad and you throw the disc across the room or whatever, and then you like hit your bed, and it was so funny, like the way you did it. And I remember that one time you got really mad at a couple of the movies that you just, I don't know, it was great. And I remember you tried
All
like
my reviews
doing
still up.
editing with a lot of your videos, and like your voice got deeper, and then.
Yeah,
And then,
it's-
like, a lot, you would have, like, the graphics where you have, like, a mustache or whatever, like, the Photoshop or whatever, and I'm just like, man, what's going on? You know what I mean? It was weird how it happened.
I never took any of my early ones down. They're all still up, especially the ones with me and Buffy Xenaman together, because the two of us are always duking it out over movies.
Yeah.
Like, we'll sit there doing a review and literally start arguing.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I
Kind of
just,
like
I just,
Siskel and Ebert in a way.
I
Yeah.
freaking was freaking doing some extreme rants back then, but
Oh, I
you know,
remember.
I wanted to just stop doing them that bad, not bad, but that extreme, because for the younger viewers that get on here and stuff like that, I just didn't
Yeah,
want
yeah.
them to, you know, see that and be like, yeah, well, crap, that's freaking crazy. I'll still break movies, I still break DVDs and stuff,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't
I get,
do
yeah, I
as
get mad.
hard, at least.
I don't want people to think, oh my God, this guy is going crazy. It's like, it's like, you know, you want people to make you think in a way you're kind of like the nostalgia critic. It's like, yeah, I hate the movie, I do hate this much, but it's not like I'm crazy. It's just I didn't like the movie and I hated it. I don't know. Yeah, I remember. I don't know, just a lot of the stuff back in the day I'd seen. I thought were pretty bad. Like, well, on the topic, hey, what do you guys think is like the worst horror movie, you know, ever? Or at least of what you've seen, you'd say.
Oh.
Somebody on it says that on here Grim Reaper's blocked. He can't join. He said that he can't join because he's blocked. Did you guys block him?
I didn't.
I didn't block him.
I didn't block him.
No, I
didn't
didn't.
block him. What the? It must be a freaking glitch, man. I've sent him like 3 invites. He said he couldn't join, and he shows me a picture. So he says someone in the video call has blocked you. I didn't block you, man. I'm trying to send you an invite, man. Holy crap! That's crazy. Hang on, let me check and see if I can invite him. I'm trying to, but he says he's blocked. I don't know, man. Maybe it's a glitch.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to, you can still watch. I mean, I'm trying to invite you, man. I really am. I'm just like, here, watch. I'm gonna try and invite you again. Like, he's got an invite, but he can't join. So I don't know. I don't know. Man. Did you block him by accident?
No, I never.
Did I?
Yeah. Did you guys block him by accident? Like just by accident, not really meaning to, but block him by accident.
No, not that I know of. I don't think I did. Yeah, I didn't. The only time I block people was, you know, when you got the trolls and then you got the people like, yeah.
Oh man.
Or
Well-
like rarely I ever block people. You know, it's kind of like I don't know, but
Well, Grim Reaper,
Yeah.
you can still watch it and comment, and you know, still watch it. I'm trying to get you in here, man. It's not. Like you said, it was just saying that somebody on it. Like it's just, I don't know. It's not working. This freaking thing glitched out. But we're gonna get you in the next one, okay, man? I'm sorry, man. I really do want you in this broadcast, but I think this thing might have glitched out, man. Sorry.
so Nate, like I said, like what do you think are, like I said, like some of the worst horror movies you've ever seen that you can think of, or you know?
Well, some of the worst ones would probably be Texas Massacre Next Generation. That movie freaking sucked.
That one for me.
Yeah.
I hated Cabin Fever. Well, not really Cabin Fever. The Wolfman remake I hated. Dragon Ball Evolution I hated. I freaking hate that freaking movie.
Seed of Chucky is one I can't stand.
Hostel Part
What?
2. I hate that sequel.
Seed of Chucky. I hate that one.
Seed of Chucky, I hate that sequel as well. Terrible freaking sequel. I don't think I really hate any. I mean, I hate these 2 films in this franchise. I hate these 2 films right here. I hate these 2 films, Jason X and Part 8. I hate these films.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of hard. I mean, I've got a lot of films that I don't like. I mean,
Yeah.
It's the same with me. I rarely find a movie I don't like.
Yeah.
I mean,
me
I hated.
me too, I mean-
Let's see now. I hated the freaking Nightmare on Elm Street remake, and I hated Nightmare on Elm Street Part
I
5.
did that.
I hate Nightmare on Elm
Yeah.
Street Part 5.
I can think of a couple. I'm not the biggest fan of some of the full moon features, specifically like I didn't really like Killjoy, you know, the one with the killer clown. I didn't really like that one.
Yeah,
Uh,
I heard about Ginger Dead Man.
Puppet Masters, and then there was this one that Full Moon did in like 92 or 93 called Arcade. It was about a killer virtual reality game.
hmm.
That sounds freaking fun.
It was actually pretty cool for the time. But then
Yeah.
I
again,
mean, yeah, a lot of stuff coming out like that. I mean,
Yeah,
you
I
think
mean,
there was Videodrome that came out. I think
Yeah.
it was, what was that, about a game or something like that?
no,
It
video
was about
drama
like
was about a TV channel. Like some
Oh,
kind of
TV.
killer
Oh.
TV channel or something
Sorry
like
about
that.
that.
I've never seen it.
I know David Cronenberg was involved in it. David Cronenberg.
yeah.
He directed it.
Didn't that star James Woods?
Yes.
Yeah, oh yeah, that one. That's how I remember it. Because I remember on Family Guy they referenced it, and
About to say, if you guys have ever seen Family Guy, you guys know who James Wood is. The ooh,
Yeah.
piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy.
yeah, man,
Ooh, piece of. Sorry.
yeah.
Like the only thing I remember from Videodrome, and I've actually never seen the movie, is when James Woods has this gun in his hands, like a cancer gun, and he shoots a guy with it, and all these tumors just start bursting out of him and stuff. It was just so
Yeah.
like, oh.
Kind of like Wishmaster. You guys ever seen Wishmaster?
Yes, yes.
Part in Wishmaster where the guy gets cancer and stuff and like makes his face all freaking pus up and stuff. It's really gross, but
Yeah.
it's a good movie. I really enjoyed Wishmaster.
Yeah, I
that-
love Wishmaster. I actually enjoyed that better than the Leprechaun franchise.
Oh, I only like the first three. I don't like the rest after that. The rest
After
of them, so.
Leprechaun 3, I stopped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same here. After Leprechaun 3, 3 is my favorite. I love Leprechaun 3.
Me
I like
too.
being taking place in Las Vegas. It's a fun sequel.
Yeah,
If
the
you ever
funny
get
thing about
there-
that franchise is the way I like the franchise. I like the third one, the fourth one, and I like the last one. That's it. I don't really
Well,
like.
speaking of the Leprechaun franchise, if you ever get a chance, look up the review that Nostalgia Critic did with the Cinema Snob. It is hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Oh.
I'll watch it.
Yeah,
I
I
love
actually
watching
did see
Nostalgia
that.
Critic. His reviews are funny.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that
Like his
long time
Catwoman
ago.
review. You guys see his Catwoman review? That was hilarious.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I saw his.
And,
Did you see his review of
the-
that?
After Earth
That movie that-
review he did.
I liked his
After Earth.
review of the Master of Disguise. That review was so
Oh my
hilarious.
god. That
Yeah,
review's funny.
he was going around just thinking of that like crazy.
I laughed so
Yeah.
hard the part when he.
I think my favorite of the critic is my favorite from the Nostalgia Critic is when he does the nostalgic commercials. I love those.
Yeah.
Those are fun
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
But
I really
speaking
like
of
the Cinema
fun-
Snob. Cinema Snob does.
Speaking
He's
of
pretty
fun,
good.
hang on.
Yeah, I like him too.
Yeah, I seen like the first review I seen him do was, what was it? I think it was either After Earth or I can't think it was After Earth was the first review I seen him do. And then I seen the Angry Video Game Nerd. I seen his first video was the Friday the 13th video game, which is what I seen his first. The Angry Video Game Nerd. That's the first video I seen him do.
Yeah, the Angry Video Game Nerd is. He's.
the Never Sleep Again documentary, the one about the Nightmare on Elm Street series. They actually have the Angry Video Game Nerd's Nightmare on Elm Street review on there as a
And he's in the his name is Jason documentary too.
Yeah.
And now we get on to a sequel that I don't know if you guys hate this movie. I don't hate it. I love this movie. But if you guys hate it, that's fine. Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning.
I don't hate it. I'm more neutral on it because it was one of the first ones I saw, and so I'm expecting Jason. At the end of it, is the ambulance driver, and I'm like, "Where's this Jason guy I've been hearing so much about?" And blah blah. Blah. I'm like, "What's this? What's going on here? I'm confused."
I seen the first 3 movies before this, so I think I had a good idea who Jason was. But when I seen Part 5 all the way through, because the ones I seen before this, I didn't see them all the way through. But I seen this movie all the way through on the AMC Fear Fest, and I just love everything about this movie. I love the brand new score to the movie that's by Harry Manfredini, and he wanted to make it sound similar to another Jason movie, but he didn't want it to be a Jason movie score. It was definitely a lot different. That different. It was just different sounding than other scores in the franchise, and I love the idea.
Who done it?
Yeah, I love. Really? Or what? Harry Manfredini, was he involved in the score?
Mystery.
Hang on.
They pretty much said it was dead. It was going to be a complete murder mystery.
But it's like a completely different, not completely different. It's a similar sounding soundtrack, but still has a little bit of a different tone to it than other movies. And I really love the kills.
I think part 5 though. I think with part 5 though, at least for me, they made the wrong. He's passed away. An okay job with it, but that director was mainly known for doing Savage Streets, and other than that, he was doing porno.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to mention too. Is he did a lot of porn before this. And there's even a scene in the movie that involves two people having sex. The MPAA showed that scene down more than anything else in the movie.
Yeah.
The MPAA went crazy on that one scene.
Yeah, that movie
was like
yeah, it was like
they had to go back and forth like 8 or 9 times.
Yeah.
To even get an R rating.
Man.
Yeah.
I was like, that's
MPAA,
crazy that it went to that many.
I don't know, the MPAA, they're pretty bad. I don't know. Back in the day, they just had problems with movies like, oh, we can't have this out, we can't have this, I mean, the MPAA, they gave RoboCop, Scarface, and Total Recall an X rating, and I'm just like,
yep.
I
kind of turned my head. I'm like,
and they only cut like 2-3 minutes out of RoboCop to get the R rating because I have the unrated version.
And well, RoboCop's actually kind of gory though. Think about it. I mean, the guy gets his hands blown off, and people getting shot. One guy gets shot by a freaking big robot. And
well, one of the things that they had to cut is when the Ed 209 malfunctions. And he just turns that robot into complete hamburger. That scene actually goes for longer in the unrated cut. Yes.
It was kind of gory, a little bit bloody, and
to it.
It was a little bit bloody in the theatrical cut, like a little bit bloody. It was just like, holy crap! I seen the remake first. I don't like the remake at all, but I seen the remake and it was PG-13, so I was gonna go into the first movie seeing the remake, and I was just like blown away. This guy got his hand blown off. He got shot, blood. I was like, this is a lot better than the freaking remake already. Practical effects.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you guys enjoy Part 5? I mean, I know a lot of people usually don't, but I know people that actually enjoy it. But what's your guys' thoughts?
It's a time waster, but as far as where I stand on it as a fan, I'm neutral.
Yeah.
It's one of those where I don't love it, but I don't hate it at the same time. I can watch it as a standalone rather than as part of the actual franchise. I look at a movie.
Mm-hmm. And then what do you think about RS?
I didn't really like it. I don't know, just not the fact that it didn't have Jason in it, but maybe it's just me. This is sound kind of ridiculous, but when I compare a lot of sometimes some stuff, and I'm thinking, I always thought it was funny to me how a lot of people never liked Halloween 3 because it didn't have Michael Myers in it, and then I talk about this movie and I'm always like, well, Friday the 13th Part 5 didn't have Jason in it, so why are you complaining? It's like, you like this movie, but you didn't like that. And I'm like, it doesn't really, where I say, like Troll 2 didn't have a troll in it. It had these hobgoblins or whatever, The Silent Hill sequels didn't have a killer Santa Claus. It's like I don't know, they kind of, I guess the fact that it actually had an imposter that kind of did it the way they did it, or I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I love how fun this movie is. I just think it's a fun time to watch it, and the kills are very, very well done. Probably my favorite kills of the franchise. Besides probably Jason Goes to Hell, that has really good kills as well. But I enjoy the kills. Makeup effects done very, very well. The way that it was shot was definitely very well done. I mean, it has that classic Friday the 13th look to it. And it has a couple of new things to it. You know, the imposter Jason. I love the look of the mask, the blue diamonds on it instead of the other ones. I said the red ones.
I actually have a little bit of interesting trivia when it comes to Part 5 from seeing the documentary. The punk girl that has the black streak in her hair,
Yeah.
she was actually supposed to go a different way. She was supposed to get a machete between the legs, but the MPAA would not have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said it would be rating.
Yeah. I remember that. I watched the his name was Jason documentary, and they talked about it because and then they showed like a picture of it, and I'm just like, I don't know. I thought it was I know they did that kill like in the Mutilator. How come the MPA didn't like crack down on that movie? That kind of had like the same kill too, where like
He did one like that in Final Chapter too, where the guy got it between.
You're kind of breaking up a little bit.
what's going on?
Uh-oh. We got a broadcast, guys.
Technical problems. We stand
Technical
by,
difficulties,
everyone.
guys. I think.
Yep.
Andre, you there, man? Hey, Andre, you there?
Oh man.
Andre? I think his camera crashed or something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Part 5, I enjoy it. I mean, we're just gonna wait till it comes back. But Part 5, I enjoy it. It's cool if everybody else doesn't like it. I mean, everybody has their opinions, but I'm actually a really big fan of Part 5. It's my favorite in the series, and I really enjoy it. But we're on to Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, which came out in 1986, I believe. Yeah, 1986. And this is, of course, the first movie with zombie Jason in it. And I enjoy this movie as well. Definitely still in the classic range. Big body count, good kills, zombie Jason, punch people's hearts out, stuff like that. Definitely has a lot of good kills to it, and it's just, in my opinion, a well-made sequel. So, what's your thoughts on it, man?
I thought it was pretty good. It was fun. A lot of people don't like it actually. They say because it's too campy and the comedy and this and that, and I'm like, I can kind of see that. Like he bends people in half. He kills like I think like what? He killed like 5 people in like less than like a minute or whatever because he chopped like 3 people's heads off. He killed the one guy, like shoots him with the paintball gun.
Yeah, I think that's gonna hurt Jason.
Yeah, the dorky guy, he shoots him with the paintball gun. Oh no, and then he starts running. It was so goofy. Like it was like imagine if it was like one of Revenge of the Nerds or like Napoleon Dynamite shot Jason. It's like, oh my god, the paintball gun he shot him with didn't work, and then he starts running away, and I'm just like, this is so ridiculous. And then one guy was chopping everything. He was mad about the woman being in the games, and then he got his arm ripped off and his face like smashed into a tree, and then you see a smiley face with blood on
smiley
it.
face.
Yeah, I laughed. I'm like, this is great. I'm like, it's gonna sound kind of weird, but I thought this was actually the funniest of the Friday 13th movies.
It was.
Kind of weird me saying that.
It was funny.
Like you were saying, the dude gets his arm ripped off, and then he's thrown into a tree, and once his face peels off from the tree, there's a freaking smiley face there. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one scene where I think it was like he's like, where the red dot goes, ya bang. I like that scene too.
Yeah, I like the part where they were playing the Alice Cooper music, and the guys in the van.
Fun freaking song right there.
Yeah, like great soundtrack to that movie, even though it had like 2 or 3 songs, 4, including.
I actually have all 3 of those Cooper songs from that movie here on my laptop.
Yeah, I love the soundtrack to this movie. I mean, it's got a lot of 80s, great 80s songs to it. And actually, I
Yeah.
think you hear that song playing before that scene. You have it playing like a radio or something like that. You can hear it in the
Yeah.
background.
Yeah, the man behind the mask, and
Yeah.
he's out of control. Yeah, great.
But I think it has some great kills. I think it has, I mean, granted, you didn't have Corey Feldman come back to play, Tommy, but the guy who filled in for him did a good job. He's actually from Return of the Living Dead, and I
Yeah,
thought he did a good
me
job
too.
as Tommy
The
Jarvis.
first two of them.
And he's in part 2 as well. Is he the same character? Or is he a different character?
I think he's kind of like the same character, just with a different name.
Yeah, because I know that in the first movie they pretty much killed everybody. In the
Yeah.
second movie, he plays basically ignores the first one, I think.
Yeah, it
What I
does.
heard about. So, I mean, he did a good job though, filling in for Corey Feldman. I mean, he did a good job acting wise, brought a lot of humor to the role. I mean, he freaking goes, "Hey Jason, come and get me!" He's calling him all these names and stuff like that. It was funny.
Come on, maggot head.
Yeah. But yeah, part 6, fun movie, and I really enjoy it. And the next, the next movie is Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood.
Oh.
Now, with this film, it's okay. I still like it. The look of Jason is awesome. Really good look of Jason.
It's one of my favorites.
And yeah, I mean, I think it has good things to it. It has a good soundtrack. I really enjoy the music. It's shot very well. And it was actually directed by John Carl Buechler, who, if you guys recognize that name, he's actually famous for his makeup effects. And he's been involved in movies like Hatchet. And he directed this movie. He also directed the first Troll, which the first Troll had a sequel to it called Troll 2, which most of you guys might remember, which most of you guys probably know more about Troll 2 than Troll 1. I mean, did he make Troll?
That the ratings board pretty much raped his movie when it came to Friday 7.
Yeah. Yeah, didn't he make Troll?
All the kills were pretty much trimmed or just like cut in half.
Yeah.
And plus, at this point, according to the Crystal Lake Memories documentary, Paramount was in talks with New Line because they were wanting to get started on Freddy vs. Jason at this point, but Paramount wouldn't let go of Friday the 13th. New Line wouldn't let go of Nightmare, so they were at a standstill.
Yeah, and that's when you got Jason versus Carrie, but this really isn't Jason versus Carrie. They call it Tina, but it's still, they have that's the general ideas, Jason versus Carrie, which I used to get a lot of crap in the past. I used to think that this whole telekinesis thing in the past didn't work, but I watched it, and I actually think it's a fun idea to have telekinesis in a Friday the 13th movie. I mean, it worked.
For me, as someone who grew up with the Carrie movies, and I love that whole franchise, I absolutely love The New Blood. I mean, the beginning of Kane Hodder's period as Jason, he's still the number one Jason for me in my book. A close second would be Ted White from Part 4.
Yeah, those are both good Jasons. I'd say Kane Hodder is the best Jason. I mean, he just brought something to Jason that no other person brought to him.
Have you heard about that game they're doing?
Yeah, the Jason video game, the Friday the 13th video game.
Kane Hodder
is going to be in motion capture for it.
Yep.
Yeah, motion capture for it. Doing the movements for Jason, which is really cool. But Part 7, it's okay to me because I don't know what it is about this movie, but this pace in this movie felt a little bit slower. Maybe it's because we're getting to Part 7 and, Part 7 to a franchise. And, yeah, it's a little bit different, but it still keeps the same formula. And I love the formula, but
I think it's because they were wanting to set up the Carrie versus Jason thing for the third act, which is why the first 2 acts are such a slow burn, so that you can actually see what Tina's able to do. Because like she breaks,
and I mean she is a likable character,
and she throws a TV at the psychiatrist guy. There's all this stuff building up to it so that you actually see what she's able to do.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, you got to see that too, but I don't know. I mean, the teenagers. I mean, I guess you don't really go into these movies for teenager characters, but
not really. They're all pretty much one-dimensional.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know. I mean, something about this movie, and it did build up. It did build up, Tina's character, because it showed you what she can do, like you said. But I don't know. I mean, before I don't know, just something about the pace. It does build up Tina, but just something about the pace I always felt was a problem. But still, I enjoy the music to the movie. I enjoy the idea. I used to give this idea a lot of hate, but I used to hate the idea of Carrie versus Jason, but I enjoy it now. The kills are a big problem in this movie.
Here's a fun bit of trivia. The opening narration for that one is actually done by Crazy Ralph from the first two movies.
Yeah, I think it was actually one of the last things he'd done before he passed away, I think.
Yeah, it was the last thing he did.
And he did a good job, though. I mean, it was just the way that it was said, it just was to a T perfect. It was just a great summary of what happened before Part 7. And, you're seeing a montage of Jason killing people. I mean, it was a good opening to the movie. I hate that song that plays, though, after. Like, it's just the same beat, but played over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, it goes like, dun-dun, 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 dun-dun. It doesn't really build up anymore. It just sort of stays like that. Like, it might have been going for the whole simple route, but, I don't know. It was just like, that's all it is just a simple beat. But
right. I think it might have gone too simple, at least for me.
It was just the same beat repeated 8 or 9 times. It was just like, okay. That part I didn't like that piece of music. But the rest of the score, it was done by a different guy. I think it was. I mean, you had Harry Manfredini's music in there, but a different guy came in and did some music as well. And I didn't mind the new bits of music that's in there as well. But the kills, and it's really not the movie's fault because it's not the MPAA really. It's their fault for making this movie the way that it is because they
throwing out the footage.
Yeah, because this footage is destroyed now, so you're not really going to get an uncut version, which is really sad because this would be a great unrated version to get.
I watch this great live show every week called The Sausage Factory, which Rambo raps on. And they did a Friday the 13th episode, which was 2 parts. And they had the guy who wrote the Crystal Lake Memories book. He actually saw the order that Paramount wrote to destroy that footage.
Really?
Yes.
That's crazy. I mean, I don't know. Why would they delete the footage though? Like, why would they destroy it like that?
Well,
like just burn it.
They figured they weren't gonna do anything with it. DVD wasn't around yet, so they figured, what are we gonna do with this other than let it sit in some vault and just rot to nothing? Why not just destroy it? I mean, but for those of us, who want to see an uncut version, I mean, that'd be a dream come true.
Yeah, I would really love to see an uncut version of Part 7 because. I mean, it's kills. It has some very imaginative death scenes. I mean, a guy can get an axe.
There's still out there, like the sleeping bag kill. Like, he actually hits the girl in the sleeping bag against the tree a few more times rather than just the once that is shown in the movie. But the MPAA cut it, but the director actually thought that hitting the sleeping bag only once added more impact.
Yeah, because it was like, boom, she's dead. Just one hit. It took one hit. That's actually, not more think about it, that's actually a good usage of the MPAA doing that because I actually do think it adds more impact because, like, oh, Jason's not playing around. He freaking killed this girl in one swipe. But, it's just the other death scenes. You don't really see much blood in the movie. And at the end of the movie, though, you got a great fight. Tina getting the gasoline on Jason, dropping him. Well, you actually see his face, too, and it's all messed up, and it's really well done.
It's excellent.
It's all practical too. It's not CGI. It's like boards breaking up and Jason getting a wire around his neck and getting pushed down in the basement of the house and her lighting him on fire. And then the ending, like the end fight was done well, but the ending, the whole, Tina rising her dad from the dead and him coming up looking barely decayed at all.
Well, that got messed up too because there was a producer involved. And John Carl Bickler had the guy all made up to look like just wasting away and everything. But this producer would not have it. She said, you cannot film this. So basically what he did is what we got at the end of it. And
yeah, I heard about that. Actually, if you look on the back of this cover, you can probably see it. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but in there somewhere, if you guys can see it, it's actually
that's what they were going to use.
Yeah, it's like right there.
Yep, that's it.
That's the original design, which is not in the freaking movie, but you
And
know,
the
it would have been cool if it was more decayed, you know.
The female producer they had would not let them film it.
Yeah, and then it like shows, and that's why at the end of the movie, like he comes up and he's like got a few little spots of decay here.
It looks like it's just dirt on his face. It's all it looks like.
Yeah, and mud. I was just like, this guy's been in the lake for what, 10 years, or was it like 6 years?
I think it was like 10 years.
10 years. I'm like, and he's still got flesh and he's got nothing missing. It didn't make sense. I didn't like the idea of just him pulling Jason in the water and that's it.
And when they blew up the house at the end, they messed up with that too. They used too much explosives.
And they actually used that final explosion for the cut.
Yes,
like the
explosion went out of control. So what we got was what we got. They wanted to do more with it, but they used too much. Whatever they used to do the explosives with, and it just went out of control.
Yeah, it was a good explosion though. I mean, the freaking house is freaking.
Because like the cameras were melted and everything, according to the documentary.
Yeah, but it was well done though. I mean, just like boom, huge explosion. It was very, very well done. And so yeah, part 7, I think it's okay. I think it's pretty decent.
Solid 7 out of 10 for me. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I like it. You know, I enjoy it. You know. I don't enjoy this movie. I used to not defend it. I don't enjoy it either.
Jason takes a cruise ship.
Yes, Jason Takes Vancouver. Jason takes the cruise ship, but yet it's still called Jason Takes Manhattan for some reason. But Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. The infamous, terrible sequel, which I used to think is okay just to watch for the kills, but honestly, last time I watched, I got freaking bored. I get bored with this movie a lot. Like the pace in part 7's a little slow, but part 8's pace is freaking terrible.
Right.
I get bored with this freaking movie.
Right. Here's something I was talking to RS Horrorman about earlier about this one. It starts out with a little boat in Crystal Lake where Jason kills the boy and the girl on the boat. How does this boat get from Crystal Lake to the ocean where this cruise ship is?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's like, would it do drift way out in the ocean, but then want to take that would take freaking. I don't even know if that would work though because they had an anchor down. So I mean,
yeah.
You know, I don't know the logic behind it. There's a lot of logic issues in this movie. First of all, we get shots of Jason as a kid. Well, first of all, before that, you got a supernatural thing going on in this movie with Jason as a kid popping up in random places, and I'm like, this is a Jason movie, and we're seeing the ghost of his kid, of the younger Jason. It just didn't make sense. And then sometimes they'll show a normal kid with hair, and then sometimes they'll show a bald kid with, you know, a messed up face. So I'm like, is he got hair? Does he not have hair?
Once.
Yeah, it's just like it'll show different looking Jason kids. I'm like, you know, even when she sees him in the water, because there's a scene that involves
that's
being, you know, in the water. That's
pushing the water.
Yeah, I mean, it looked a lot different than the other one that they see later on in the city. It was just like, I don't know. There's a lot of problems with this movie. You can talk about it for a second if you want.
It's just one of those, I don't even know where to start on it because I hate it so much. It's one of those I would do an ultra rant on. I don't even go into it when I watch the Friday the 13th movies. I skip right over it.
Yeah, I had a Friday the 13th marathon, and this one was a chore to sit through. It's always been a chore to sit through.
To me, it's Chinese water torture.
Yeah, it's because like most of the movie takes place on a boat. And like what, 30 minutes what takes place in Manhattan. And half of it's in Vancouver.
The last 20 minutes, that's it. And it's mainly in
Vancouver. It's not even all in Manhattan. Half it's in Vancouver as well. So it just doesn't make sense. I was watching it, I'm like, this does not, you know, make a lot of freaking sense. Because, I mean, I get it, filming it in Manhattan. I mean, everybody would be freaking out because it's Jason, but still.
Which they did. They shot a couple scenes there.
Yeah, there is one shot, though, because I don't hate this movie all the way. I love the poster for the movie. The I, heart, and Y, and then the heart is slashed out, and Jason's hockey mask is right there.
Which that poster got banned.
It did?
Yes. The people behind the I Love New York logo were so pissed. They made them take down that poster.
Well, that's probably because they seen the movie. They're like, oh, we didn't want to sponsor this movie.
Right. They
And
figured they
also
would harm,
because
they figured
it's
they would, harm the tourism.
yeah, that too, you know. But yeah,
I
it's
thought it was cool looking poster, though. But I also thought the VHS art was cool too.
yeah, I love that poster where Jason's hovering over the city with the knife. That's a cool
Yeah.
poster too. And I enjoyed the first song of the movie, the darkest side of the night.
Yeah.
Show some respect. Try to survive. I love that song, but I wish it was a different Friday the 13th movie because this movie freaking sucks. I wish it was a different sequel. Like I wish it was in part 7, or you know, I mean, I know it's meant for Manhattan sort of, but you know, I wish it was in like a different, you know, movie probably in general as well because it's just this movie freaking sucks. But I love that song. I love that song.
Yeah.
And
If you want me to, like tomorrow or something, I'll send you.
huh?
So I have it on my laptop. I can send you a copy of that song over Skype tomorrow or something, or blah, copy of that song over Skype tomorrow because I have it.
Oh, okay. Sure. I love that song. I love the song from part 6 as well. I love the one from this film. I don't know if any of the other ones had really good music to them, but
Part
you
4
know,
had that one where Crispin Glover's dancing all crazy. That
yeah, I know it was meant to
was
be
a
a
good
different song though, and then they actually had to get it because it was different. Like they were gonna get copyrighted for it, so they had to get a different song.
right. And then I like the one in part 5 where the punk girl dies. I like that song. There's a man with no life in his eyes. That
Oh
one.
yeah, in part 5. That song is really good. I can't believe I forgot that. Part 5 is my favorite, but I love that song as well. That song is great. But part 8, I mean, the kills, everything in this movie's like, how do you not do the kills right either? Because these kills freaking suck. It's like maybe 2. Like I like the one where the guy gets his freaking head punched off and it rolls into a dumpster. And then I like what's the other one? A guy's in like a sauna, gets a freaking rock shoved in his freaking chest. But besides that, the death scenes are pretty lackluster. And
the one I thought was kind of cool was the one where the girl who plays guitar is down playing in the basement, and Jason just whacks her upside the head with that guitar and kills her. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed that death scene too, where he gets the freaking guitar. Boom!
That actress actually quit acting and became a voice artist.
Oh, really? For what movies was she in?
The original voice of Gohan on Dragon Ball Z.
Gohan? The guitarist girl from Final Fantasy Part 8 going to be Gohan in Dragon Ball Z.
Yes.
That's freaking crazy. I would never.
I looked it up on IMDb.
I did not freaking know that at all. The crap, man. I enjoy that. I enjoy the voicing of Gohan in that. And she did an okay job in here. I mean, she wasn't that terrible.
Right.
But the characters really aren't that much. The atmosphere, not really much to it. Half the movie takes place on a ship, and it's terrible. It's bad.
Yeah, it is. It's bad.
This next movie, though, I'm not sure if you hate this movie. I don't hate it. I love this movie. That is Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday, but you know, it's this one.
I do enjoy it, but I really enjoy it more when I watch the unrated cut.
Yeah, I don't really watch honestly, I don't think I've ever watched the theatrical cut before.
I've watched it once or twice, but the unrated cut is just so much better. Yeah, I think maybe because I'm a gore hound or something like that, but I love the unrated cut.
Yeah, I love the gore in this movie. It's freaking crazy. You know, a guy melting and his jaw gets ripped off.
That was one of my favorites.
You know, a girl getting her head pushed into the freaking car, and you see her skull get freaking impacted and stuff. And then one girl getting like a post shoved right through her and ripped up. It's like probably the goriest death scenes in the franchise. Even though Part 5 had some gruesome ones, but Jason Goes to Hell probably had, you know, the goriest death scenes because, well, the uncut version does.
Yeah.
But was the MPAA very? Do you know if the MPAA was very?
That's why they did the unrated version.
Oh, that's cool. At least they didn't destroy the
Very
footage.
adamant. They were very tough on that one.
I enjoyed the idea of it being the whole demon. I know a lot of people hate that idea because it has nothing to do with Jason, but I really do respect how it tried to go a different way because there's like, okay, Part 8 was in Manhattan, but it kind of failed. Didn't do that much. It didn't do that good in the box office, and they were like, well, let's try to make this a different approach to a Jason movie. So that's why I love this film. I really love the gore effects. They're really well done. But I also enjoy the story. I enjoy the lead character.
That one. I was gonna say I like that one. That only through a Voorhees can he be reborn, and only at the hands of a Voorhees can he truly die.
Yeah, I enjoy that idea. I enjoy I enjoy the cast of the movie. The lead character and his friend, his like a deputy friend, fun characters, and you know. It has good death scenes. It has great death scenes, and you know, I like it taking place. I like the idea of just
probably Creighton Duke, the bounty hunter. Creighton Duke, the bounty hunter, is probably my favorite. He meets the lead guy, he's breaking his fingers for information. You gotta pay.
Yeah, and that's a great scene where he's in the cell. He's like, I don't think you can pay the price of that. He's like, try me. And then he goes like, tell me. And the guy's like, this one's on the house. That was a good scene where he's like, tell me. Because the guy's like, you can't. He's like, this is just a price too expensive to pay. And he's like, tell me. And then the guy's like, this one's on the house. It was a funny scene.
Yeah, it was.
You gotta pay the price. It was fun. That was a fun scene. But yeah, Jason Goes to Hell. I enjoy it. I really do like this film. And
don't forget the ending though. Freddy's glove popping up, the setup for Freddy vs. Jason.
Yep. And that's from there on. It took a decade to get the Freddy vs. Jason movie made.
Yep.
But in between this and in between Freddy's Dead, of course, Freddy's Dead. In between Freddy's Dead and Freddy vs. Jason was Craven's New Nightmare, which I enjoyed that film. But in between the Jason in between Jason Goes to Hell and Jason and Freddy vs. Jason is this film, Jason X, which you guys can give you guys thoughts on if you guys want to.
It's another one that I'm pretty neutral on. I mean, some of the kills are okay. The look of the Uber Jason at the end where he's half metal, I thought that was really cool. And the part where, I don't know, I couldn't really say, it was more of a mess than anything. But there's only really one kill that I like the most, and it's when that girl gets her head frozen and then just slammed onto the counter.
Yeah, that's probably the best death scene in the movie, in my opinion.
Okay.
Probably my favorite in the movie. Where the girl gets her face frozen, liquid nitrogen, and just gets boom right in the counter. That was a good death scene, I gotta admit that.
Yeah.
But what's your thoughts on it, man? Sorry, man. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, which one are we talking about?
Jason X.
Jason X. Wrong, Jason X.
Jason X.
Jason X. I swear I'm alone in this. I really am. I love this movie. This is actually my favorite of the entire series. I know everyone's gonna be like, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? Maybe I am. I have so much fun with this movie. I mean, this was actually the last one I saw, in order, and I don't know, the kills are great. I don't know, I had a lot of fun with this movie. I'm like, okay, it's Jason in space.
It's a time waster, but I do have fun with it. I especially like the one part near the end where the one guy's like, "It's okay, guys. He just wanted his machete back."
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. I hate Jason X. I don't like this movie. Is it as bad as Part 8? I would say Part 8 and this are probably equal in my opinion, because Jason X is okay. So I guess people have said this before, how they had Leprechaun 4 in space, how they had Hellraiser Bloodline in space. So hey, how about we put Jason in space? And yeah. I don't think this worked. I don't think it worked. Manhattan could have been a fun idea if they messed it up. Here, I don't think this worked.
With me though, I can actually sit through Jason X. I cannot sit through Jason Takes Manhattan, but I can sit through Jason X and have fun with it.
Yeah.
Jason Takes Manhattan is definitely a more boring movie, but I don't like the way this movie looks. This movie looks like it's a freaking cheap atmosphere, and I don't really like the death scenes. I mean,
That's
and also
because it was shelved. It was.
I just didn't like the whole idea of taking place in outer space.
The film in like '99 or 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't like the CGI either. The CGI was pretty bad.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad CGI.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I like I said, I like it better than, the first one, or part 3, or part 4, or part 7, or part 8, I definitely like it better than the remake. But, again, that's just me. I know everyone hates this movie. They think it's the worst movie of all time. They think it's one of the worst. But I had fun with it. I did. I mean, it was the last one I saw, but I don't know. I don't know. I had a lot of fun with it. I thought the kills were great. I thought the characters were great. I liked the look of Jason. I don't know. I know before they were actually gonna have Freddy vs. Jason. And then they had this one, and then they had Freddy vs. Jason. But I don't know.
Well, while you're talking, why don't you give your thoughts on New Blood, Jason Takes Manhattan, and Jason Goes to Hell? Because we talked about them when you were gone.
Oh yeah. Like I said, the 7th one, I know a lot of people really like this movie, and this was actually the first one I had saw, and I hated this movie so much. I can't stand this movie. I don't like the character Tina. I don't. I know people say, oh, it's Jason versus Carrie, and I'm like, if it's Jason versus Carrie, then where's Sissy Spacek? Just saying. I mean, I've always said that. I've said that for like years, and I'm just like, And yeah, the MPA, them cutting this movie down didn't help, and I don't know. It seems like people they didn't really develop a whole lot of characters, and it seemed like they were being killed like every 2 minutes, and it was just like. And Greg could say all the characters weren't likable anyway, but I don't know. I wanted some character development in a slasher film. I'm sorry, I don't know. And like some of the kills were stupid. Like Jason killed someone with like a party horn.
Yeah.
And then and then you hear like the horn sound, and I'm just like.
That must be the safest party horn ever.
Yeah, I'm just like. I mean, I haven't seen kills this ridiculous since like. Santa's Sleigh,
Oh, I heard about that movie too.
That one actually stars Bill Goldberg, Goldberg from WWE.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
He's the killer Santa. He killed someone with like a reef, and I don't want to give too many of the kills away, but it was ridiculous. It was fun. Yeah, Goldberg is.
I'll have to find a review for you guys.
For what? Oh, Santa's Sleigh.
Santa's Sleigh. A friend of mine did review it.
I've heard about it, but I heard bad things about it. So.
Yeah,
I have too.
Yeah, I had fun
with Part 8. What's your thoughts on Part 8?
Part 8 was a movie when I first saw it. I liked it okay, but then the more I think about it, I'm just like.
Yeah, that's how I was. I was like, I liked it at first, and then I was like, nah. Well, I thought it was okay at first, and I was like, nah, I can't watch it.
Well, you weren't here, RS, for this bit of trivia that I told Nate. The girl who has the pink Flying V guitar, the one that gets killed in the basement, after that movie, she actually retired and went into the original voice of Gohan on Dragon Ball Z. Oh, I think he froze up again.
Who?
RS, I think he froze up again.
Uh-oh. Google Plus, why are you doing this, Google Plus?
Yeah, I think he froze up again.
No. Dang it. So did we talk about the Freddy vs. Jason, or what? I don't know. I think we should probably talk about Freddy vs. Jason until he gets back, and then he'll give his thoughts on Part 8.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're going to wait for him to reconnect, and we're having some connection issues, guys. But getting our Freddy vs. Jason, which came out in 2003, I had to remember that for a second. I don't got IMDb for it right now, but it was a film that when it came out made a lot of freaking money, like a lot of freaking money. And it was a film that was 10 years in the making, and there was so many scripts about it. It was ridiculous. There were scripts about cults. There were scripts about a haunted house. There were scripts about all kinds of stuff like that. And it went through a lot of rewrites and stuff like that, and they finally got the script that was good, you know.
According to both, I do like 20-something different drafts of the script and like 40-something different writers.
Holy freaking crap, man. That's a freaking lot of writers and rewrites and freaking, oh my gosh.
But Freddy vs. Jason, it's one I do have fun with. It's Robert Englund's last go as Freddy Krueger, at least until he wins this fight with New Line that he's duking out right now, because he wants to play Freddy one more time before he retires.
Oh, that's freaking awesome, man. Why did they not let him do that? Come on, man. Give Robert Englund a freaking chance, man. Give him a freaking gosh damn. Huh? You kind of broke up there.
He's already one more round for the fans.
Right, man. I mean, if he came back to do one more Freddy movie, like, gosh, man, to go see that in the movie theaters, it would be awesome, man. I would say that'd be freaking awesome. I have never seen a Freddy movie in theater before. I didn't see the remake. Yeah, I didn't see the remake. I was way too young to see Freddy vs. Jason, and I had never seen. I seen Jason in the theaters. I had a chance to see Leatherface in theaters when it was Texas Massacre 3D or Texas Chainsaw 3D. Sorry, but I didn't see that movie in theaters. I got it on DVD when it came out, or not when it came out, but I got it on DVD a few years back.
When I was 10 years old and New Nightmare came out, I lived probably like within walking distance from both the theater and from where I went to school at, so I could just walk home from school. I'm walking home from school on the side of the street that I live on, and I'm looking across at the theater, and there it is on the marquee, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I'm looking at this 10 years old. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I want to go.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you're too young.
I didn't see, like, I wish I was able to see the freaking, New Nightmare in theaters. That would have been awesome, man.
I had a chance to see Freddy vs. Jason, but it was a couple towns over, and again, Mom wouldn't let me go.
Oh, I didn't go see the remake in theaters. Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake, I didn't want to see it at the time, so I didn't go see it in the theaters. I don't think it would have been great to see it in theaters anyways. Honestly.
I wouldn't have even bothered. After my mom bought it for me for my birthday, I watched it once and I literally threw it in the garbage.
Man. Hey, RS4, what's your thoughts on Part 8? Like, Jason Takes Manhattan?
Yeah, like I said, I hate the movie. Not a fan of it. Just, I don't know, everything about Jason was off. Just takes a cruise ship. Just, didn't like it. Jason Goes to Hell. This was a movie for the longest time I hated, but watching it over, like 2, 3, 4 years ago, I loved it. I actually would say this is my second favorite of the series. It's got gore. I forget who's his name, but the one guy who was he was in the Friday the 13th TV series. He was good in it. There was like some references from various other horror films, like you see the glove, like pull Jason's mask down. You see Freddy Krueger, the glove. Mm-hmm. You see the evil Deadpool guy, the Necronomicon. You see the trunk from Creepshow. I'm like, okay, cool. And like I said, I like it. But what do you guys think of Jason Goes to Hell? Because I didn't get a chance to hear your thoughts on it.
I really had a lot of fun with it. It's one of those I can watch and just have a good time with, especially if it's the unrated cut. And before you froze up, I was actually telling you a bit of interesting trivia about Jason Takes Manhattan. The guitar playing girl, after she did that movie, she retired and went into voice acting, and she was the original voice of Gohan on Dragon Ball Z.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how I was like, what? 'Cause I love watching Dragon Ball Z. I didn't know that, man. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah. Dragon Ball Z is great.
I love watching. I actually have a T-shirt over there, Dragon Ball Z on it.
Yeah. Didn't you do a rant on the movie Evolution or whatever that one
Yeah,
was?
I did a mega ultra freaking rant on, which is a new set of videos I'm doing. I'll do my rants. Those are going to be movies that, I don't like them, but there's probably a few things I like to them or something like that. Mega ultra freaking rants are movies that just I hate, and they had no
Oh,
good
yeah.
things in them at all. Mega ultra freaking rants, but that's what we're called.
Yeah.
I did a mega ultra freaking rant on that movie, and it was funny. I mean, I try to make it funny, I was still in around stuff
Yeah.
like that. I actually sold the DVD. I don't have it anymore. I actually
I know
sold
what
it.
you mean.
Remember that movie
Yeah.
Primal I did a rant on? The movie Primal? I did a rant on it a couple years ago, like a year ago. No, it was a couple years ago.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like the
Primal?
only rant. It was like the only rant on YouTube about it, or the only review on YouTube about it.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That
It
was
was
like
the
the
only
only
freaking review. I did the
Yeah, I
one
remember.
review.
Yeah, and I posted the comment that said "Holy donuts."
Yeah.
I remember that.
Man, I wish I kept it up, man. I might do another rant on that, but I have
Yeah.
to get it again because I don't really remember it that much because it was forgettable film. But it was freaking terrible. Freaking, it would definitely get a mega ultra freaking rant.
Yeah,
But
like the
yeah,
movie gets like like you said, a 1.8, I think, on IMDb. I'm like,
yeah, 1.8. I was like, oh my gosh, wonderful. And then it said I'm about to flip out because on the director's known for list, he was known for being involved with Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of Black Pearl. And I was like, oh my god, what did he do in this movie? He was just a guy standing around on set. Didn't really have a. He wasn't
Director of The Ring.
Who, the guy that made Primal? The guy that made Primal? The guy that made Primal, the director of it? Did he make The Ring? I didn't hear what you said, man. I think he froze up. Did you freeze up, Andre? I think Andre froze up. Gosh dang it,
yeah,
Google Plus.
I think so.
I hate. I mean, I like doing Google Broadcast, but Google Plus, from the day it came out, back in 2013.
Yeah,
Man.
I remember the day, the messaging, and then Google owns YouTube, and now it's one thing, and I'm just like, man, and Facebook doesn't even have this many problems, and Google Plus, and it's Hangouts mixed with this. It literally took me 5 minutes just to get back in here because the glitching and everything. It's like, argh.
Yeah.
So,
but quick recap: 9, I love. 8, I hate. That's kind of rhymed. But 10, I hated, and that's pretty much where we got back on.
yeah.
But we were talking about Freddy vs. Jason. So what's your thoughts on it, man?
Freddy vs. Jason is a movie that I wanted to see in the theater or see it as a kid, but I didn't really know too much about it because the funny thing is when this movie had came out and when it was coming out, I was 4, so
yeah. I was extremely
4, so
3 or 4, yeah. I was about 3 or 4 when it came out.
I was like, because the movie came out in 2003 and I was 4, so I was like, man, I'm like, man, this is like, so, I wanted to see it, and I heard some stuff about it, and my dad showed me, and I'm like, Freddy vs. Jason, what's this? And they were all laughing. I'm like, what's so funny? I'm like, can I watch this? And then, I didn't see it later until I was about 9, so about like 5 years later, when the hype had like really died down, and it's a movie that I watched and I really liked it, and a lot of people didn't like it. But the more I started to like, and then I watched it a couple years later, like 5, 6 years later, I think, and I watched it finally over again, and I'm thinking, it's a weird movie. I'll say that it's a weird movie. I don't know, just something about it. It was kind of it was a weird movie. Like, I know it's from the same director of Bride of Chucky, you know, Ronnie Yu, which you can really tell it's by the same director by the look, the the cinematography, the visuals, even like the fight scene at the end. You know, you like Freddy versus Jason, and you have Chucky versus Tiffany, pretty much. And I don't know, like it looks like
raining. It was raining in there, and then it was raining in here, and then they both fight.
Sorry, I technically on the end.
Like this black, like kind of grayish, like look to it. Like it looked like a Nine Inch Nails music video or something. I'm just like, it looked kind of and like.
Well, I mean, I love Freddy vs. I love Freddy vs. Jason because I think it has, well, I mean, I could say I love Freddy vs. Jason because it had, first of all, the ending, which really, really was freaking awesome. The ending was freaking great. It has some practical effects to it. Granted, it has some CGI, but, you know, it still had some practical effects to it. And the cast is freaking terrible. I hate this group of teenagers. None of them were likable, in my opinion. They had terrible acting skills. Skills. They had no acting skills at all. But, and I like the way that it was shot, though. It was a good look. I mean, the same look as Bride of Chucky, but still, I thought it was a good look for the film. Yeah. And I just like the idea of Freddy versus Jason. That's what we got, Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, I remember when Rambo Raphael did a review of the movie, and he was talking about how the boyfriend character, the one guy, kept on going, "Hey, you know, I know that your father, he killed your mother," and the guy was smiling the whole time, and I thought about it, like, you know, I can't stand this guy. Why is he smiling all this time? He's like, you know,
he does freaking smile too much. He'd be like, I'm sorry, your friend just got killed right in front of you, and I'm sorry, man. I was like, this is freaking.
Yeah, it's like we're dying. Freddy is gonna kill us. We're dying. Oh man, we're gonna die. Like I didn't know what was like. I didn't get it, and then he kept on like smiling the whole
There's
time.
There's two Andres. There is two Andres. Andre, there's two of you.
No, I'm having all kinds of technical issues here tonight.
There's two of you.
There's two Andres.
I know, like
there it went. It went away.
Did you have a twin? I mean, if you have a twin, it's okay. You can bring your twin on the show.
Andre Part 2.
On the Nate Murphy Show.
Yeah, right.
No,
Nate Murphy Show.
Technical issues here tonight. Crappy Wi-Fi.
Yeah. But Andre, what's your thoughts on Freddy vs. Jason?
It's one I have just an awesome time with. I love Robert Englund. He's just having a ball as Freddy once again. The only thing that kind of bothered me was that Kane Hodder was supposed to be Jason, and both the director and New Line screwed him over and got a different guy. So that was like my one nitpick. But other than that,
what was it like? The producer like, well, he's too fat or something like that. They said he was too chubby.
He's too chunky.
He's freaking Kane Hodder. He is Jason.
Exactly.
And you guys took this guy over this guy. I'm like, this doesn't make freaking sense.
Yeah, and they wanted David versus Goliath. I'm like, this is Freddy versus Jason. This is not David versus Goliath. You should have got Kane Hodder. He should have moved around. And I know people complain about the movie. Well, Freddy's like, he's doing jumping jacks and he knows karate. And I'm like, well, it's not as bad as in Halloween Resurrection where Buster Rhymes is karate chopping Michael Myers.
That was awful. That was freaking awful.
It's not as bad as Alien vs. Predator or AVP or Alien vs. Predator 2, or it's not as bad as, what was it, Frankenstein versus the Wolfman. It's not as bad as that, where, they both die at the end, or I know I keep going with all the versus movies, but I'm just trying to get that out of the way. It's not as bad as Godzilla versus King Kong, where it's just two guys in a...
Or Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys.
Oh, that was bad.
That was
just stock footage.
The fight scene at the end was like so bad. It made like a fight scene from a Nickelodeon show look amazing. It was that bad. Like oh, he cuts the thing and Blade chops up the monkey. It was supposed to be a bear, but then they changed into a monkey, and then they cut the thing of the Jack in the Box, and the guy's head explodes, and just the whole thing is they're gonna kill these kids on Christmas Day, and I'm like, okay, so let me get this straight. You're ripping off Halloween 3, but it's on Christmas, and you're having toys kill them. I'm like,
Right.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard a lot of bad things about it. I heard it was freaking terrible.
yeah. Well, I thought the movie was. I had fun with the movie. I thought it was okay, but that fight scene was terrible, and I'm like, it's Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys. This should have been so much better. I know Full Moon was going to release it, but then it got released by the Sci-Fi Channel. Yes, the Sci-Fi Channel. Mega Croc versus Giant Octopus versus Super Mega Ultra. Those movies. I know
all these different titles.
they
All
have
these like different three-headed shark versus the
Sharknado.
500 freaking
Yeah. While we're on the topic of versus movies and sci-fi movies, real quick, did you know they made an Anaconda versus Lake
Lake
Placid?
Placid. Yes.
Yeah.
Versus what?
It was
Anaconda versus Lake Placid.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or did they actually release it, or
They released it
Yeah,
from
it's
the Sci-Fi
out.
Channel.
is it on DVD?
I've seen it at Walmart.
It's seriously that's a real thing.
Yes.
Anaconda versus Lake Placid.
Yeah, I mean it's a cool idea. I mean those are my two favorite snake and crocodile alligator killer movies. But I'm like, okay, this would be a cool idea. And then I found out they actually made it in September. Well, they made it a little bit before, but I found out about this in September of last year, and I'm like, okay, this is. And then I see the CGI, and I'm like,
What the fuck?
it looks bad. I mean, a killer snake, and I'm like, okay, it's a cool concept, but it's CGI, and it's like, what's the point? Like sometimes I'm like, of like all the versus movies, how come we never got Jason versus Michael Myers? When are we gonna get that?
Oh, that would be a great movie right there.
When are we gonna get Chucky versus Leprechaun? Can we please get a Chucky versus Leprechaun? I want to see that.
Yeah, I've heard about Chuck versus Leprechaun, but yeah, Freddy versus Jason. It's I like it. I love it.
Yeah.
And of course, this is the one that probably will have mixed opinions on, but the Friday the 13th remake from 2009.
Okay.
I don't
Let me
know.
go through
We should
this
probably talk about both of these at the same time. So this will actually be the final things we're going to be talking about. We'll talk about the remake, and then we'll talk about this film or this documentary a little bit.
And
Your
I can
thoughts on
do
that
a little
too.
bit of just like memories too.
Okay, we can do that too. I haven't seen it yet, but
But
you know,
let me
we
go
can
first on the remake.
talk about it. Okay.
I do enjoy this one because of the fact that it takes elements from the first 4 movies and puts them all into one with a whole new story. And it was just they had a good Jason. The kills were cool. I just really enjoy it, and I do have a funny story about it. This didn't happen to me, but it happened to my best friend. He saw this movie in the theater, and there's a scene where the black guy gets killed. There's a crowd of black people in front of him that start screaming and throwing popcorn and so they're like, "Where's the black guy gonna die?" Blah 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 blah. Next thing you know, the Asian guy gets it. There's a group of Asians in the theater. They start going crazy. My best friend's getting pelted with popcorn and soda on both sides. He's like, "Why are you throwing this stuff at me? I didn't make the movie."
He's in the middle of the fire zone, right?
He's like, "Wait, it's right."
That must have been like a really weird coincidence. It's like it kind of reminds me. I remember there was a joke on Family Guy where there was one involved where this guy where I think it was Peter was telling a joke or whatever, and then he's like and there was like I think it was a group of like Jewish guys next to him, and there was a group of Asian guys next to him, and he was gonna tell the joke, and he looks around, and they're right there. And he decides to tell that anyway. And then he says, "Whoa!" And then a naked priest walks in, and there's a priest at the table who's naked. He says, "Oh, sorry, Father." He's like, "No, it's okay. I get it all the time." And I'm just like, how does this? I don't know. It's like, how does that happen? Like you still go on with it. It's like
I even said that to my friend. I'm like, "How did you end up in the middle of a riot like that?" He's like, "I have no clue."
Yeah, it seems like something that would be on like a comedy segment. It's like, oh my God, really? Wow, that must have been so awkward. It's like, ah, you suck, I hate you. I don't know. Sometimes I kind of feel that, like, in horror movies where, like, there's always the guy that dies and it's the lead girl. I'm just like, ah, come on. Can we have one, like, male lead in a horror movie, you know? But,
Which
you
they
know,
do sometimes. I mean, they got Evil Dead. In this film, the lead characters, well, one of the lead characters is a dude. And you're right though. Not a lot of horror films have like guy leads. Most of it's girls. Most of the time, the guys sacrifice themselves for the girls. Like,
Yeah.
no, run away! I'll get killed. I'm like, what the freak, man. But this
Yeah.
remake, I seen it in theaters. And it was a good experience because everybody in there was cheering because there was a lot of Friday the 13th fans in there, and it was just a cool atmosphere to be around because everybody was wearing T-shirts and people in there just having a fun time. And it was a great experience in the theater to see it. And I like the special effects of the movie. They kept it mostly practical, a little bit of CGI here and there, and fun death scenes. I think they nailed the atmosphere to it. And a lot of the problems I hear about is as similar to Marcus Nispel's remake of Texas Massacre, and it's somewhat similar, but I don't think it's that much similar to Texas Massacre. But I guess it is somewhat similar. And I like the new stuff they explain. I like how Jason sets up these traps, and everybody says these traps are too advanced. I'm like, how are they too advanced? Just like freaking bear trap stuff like that. So I'm not really sure, that problem. Everybody says, oh, he's too smart. I'm like, all he does is put up traps. He
Yeah.
does that in the original. He does that in the older films as well. And
Yeah, I
the
think-
underground tunnel thing, I enjoy that idea too because it explains how he pops up in places. So I like
thought
that.
that was a cool idea.
Yeah.
Because it explains. It doesn't just say, "Oh, well, he just pops up for no reason." No, they give it a reason. I really like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I can't stand that when people complain about that. And they always like talking about it, and then they say, about the movie, about everything, about like how, he sets up the traps. And I'm like, well, Wrong Turn 3 did that with like Three Fingers, where, like a thing goes right here and it cuts in like this, and they got like these advanced traps. And, people would always complain about how, the whole underground thing is like, it's like with Jason, it's like torture porn. It's like Hostel or Saw the Human Centipede, and I'm just like, no, not really.
Well, you can say
No,
porn,
no.
but not torture porn because there's a lot of sex in this movie. So
Yeah.
you can say
Well,
just the regular porn.
I mean, there is torture and there is stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I know in the unrated cut, there's like that. The only thing they extended is the nudity, from what I heard, which,
Well, they do got some hot chicks in the movie, though. I mean, you got to admit that. The chicks in this movie.
yeah.
are freaking-
I mean, I'm not gonna complain. But I don't know. It's kind of weird. That's like the thing they extended the most was the sex. It was like, oh my god, the nudity. I'm like, I mean,
Right.
that's more nudity in part 5. In part 5, like had like 3 scenes of nudity, but
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. And I enjoyed the remake. I thought the cast was good. Like I said, I liked the characters. The kills were good. I don't know. It was a little bit of a weird movie. I like the score, but it's like weird. It's like.
I like bits of the score. I mean, the whole score, I don't care. Like the score as a whole, I don't think it's as good as the original films, but I enjoy parts of it. I enjoy the chase scene music and stuff like that. Everybody says, "Oh, the score is forgettable." I'm like, no, I can remember certain songs from the movie that. I can remember some. I can remember some of the music in the movie. So everybody says, "Oh, this score is forgettable." I'm like, I remember some of the songs in the movie.
Yeah.
Anytime I hear the song Sister Christian, I think of that movie now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. The other song I thought of was Tick Tick Boom by the Hives. The scene where the guy's on the boat and then he gets stabbed with like the arrow and the girl falls off the
Yeah.
boat. I like that song. Tick Tick Boom by the Hives.
I was right all along. I know that song.
Yeah, I was right, you were wrong. Da-na-na-na. Yeah. That was a great song.
That's a hilarious death scene too because the guy's like, "Whoa!" and he just looks like that and he just freaking falls down. It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I remember I was watching the theaters. I was just like this, and the freaking arrow goes, and it's like a really big impact too. Not like in Wrong Turn. Well, I think you've seen it in the trailer, though, right? RS Horror Man, where the guy gets a freaking arrow in his face.
Yeah.
That has no impact. He just like oh, you're just like, boom, and he
Yeah.
just looks like that, and he just falls.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I know. I saw that in the theater. It was actually the first like one of the horror movie remakes I saw in the theater. I saw that, the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I saw Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Didn't like it. Or the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. But like I said, I saw.
I've seen Rob Zombie's Halloween in a theater I seen it actually before my mom got it on DVD. I seen it in theaters, and it was at a drive-in theater actually. So it was really cool to see it in a drive-in theater.
I didn't see it until it came out on DVD because I heard about it when I was in college.
Yeah, I seen it in the drive-in theater, and I don't really remember it that good because I was very, very young. That's why I had to get my freaking eyes covered for most of the movie. But I remember seeing it in the drive-in theater.
I've seen a drive-in theater one time, but I've never been to one. I was actually going through Ohio on my way down to Florida, and we were heading towards, I believe it was Fairborn. And there's a drive-in like right near there.
Yeah, there's only one drive-in left in Ohio, and that's actually like right down the freaking where I live. Like I can drive there in like 5 minutes and get there. Like it's just.
That was the one
we usually go there. We usually go there to watch. And just in case you don't want to spend like what was like $30 to go see a crappy movie. Let's go see one in the drive-ins for like $5. So
that was the one I went past them because I have family in Fairborn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
we only have one in Ohio, so
that's gotta be it then.
Like I said, I don't really live near the drive-ins, but I used to go like a couple times in 2011, and I went last year actually. One last time I saw 3 movies in the theater. At the drive-ins. My bad. I saw The Gift. I saw Sinister 2, which was horrible.
I heard it was terrible.
It was bad. It was so like.
It was so like.
If you're like a Christian, or if you're just like a
Uh-oh. I think we have the camera malfunction.
Yeah.
Gosh dang it, Google But I guess until it comes back, we'll talk about the documentary, the first documentary, which was a big problem for most people. I think it's okay to watch it, but I really want to get that Crystal Lake's memory, which you can talk about because I haven't seen it yet, but I really want to get it. But his name was Jason. This is the first one, and this is the regular DVD. It's got a lot of info to it, but the thing is, the runtime is, let's see how much, 90 minutes. 90 freaking, if I can get it on there. It's all backwards, but it says 90 minutes. That's a big problem with this movie because the Nightmare on Elm Street documentary was 4 hours long.
Which I have that too.
Which I see now on Netflix, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. And the new documentary for the Crystal Lake Memories was 4 hours long.
No, 7 hours.
7 freaking hours? Well, still, I'm really a big fan of the franchise, so.
It's split across 2 DVDs and 2 Blu-rays. They take like 40 minutes movie and the TV series. Plus, if you pre-ordered it, they gave you a bonus disc that had 4 more hours of extended interviews.
Oh my god.
It was just amazing.
Fans complain about this documentary. They definitely got what they needed. I mean, people didn't like this documentary. The first one definitely got what they definitely got the documentary they wanted.
Yeah,
I mean,
7 hours. Yes.
I really want to get it now. 7 hours.
It's definitely worth it.
But yeah, I mean, I think the first documentary is okay. But have you seen the first one yet? The first documentary?
Yeah, I used to own it. It was one of the ones I lost in those boxes.
So, I mean, did you hate it? Did you think it was okay? Did you
I
like it?
thought it was all right.
Yeah, same here. I mean, it's okay, but I really want to get the Crystal Lake Memories DVD, or not DVD, but Blu-ray. And you can talk about
too, so.
You can talk about the Crystal Lake Memories.
And they got it's a combo pack, but they got like 90 to 95% of the people involved with the entire franchise.
Holy freaking crap!
Narrated by
man.
Feldman. I mean, they put a lot of work into it, and it's from the same people who did the Nightmare on Elm Street documentary.
So you can, do you really I know I know the answer to this, but do you enjoy it?
Yes, I do. I love it. It's like
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good
like
things.
the most wealth of information on the Friday the 13th series I've ever experienced.
They said that that's like the most complete documentary you could probably get in the franchise.
It is. Like
But,
if I had to pick the franchise documentaries, it'd be Crystal Lake Memories, then Never Sleep Again, then probably a close third would be Halloween 25 Years of Terror.
yeah, that was good too. I seen that like a year ago on YouTube. Actually, it's on YouTube free.
Yeah,
I
and
seen it, and I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. I don't think I loved it as like most people love documentary. I think it's a good one. You know, I definitely enjoyed it. But compared to the Elm Street one, I loved Nightmare on Elm Street
I
documentary.
did too.
That was great. I
But
loved it. I like the Halloween.
If you get the chance, even if you can find it online, check out Crystal Lake Memories.
Yeah, I really want to see it. I really, really, really want to see it, and I really, really want to get it now. But you know, can you get it at Walmart, or do you have to get it off of Amazon? Like,
No,
is that the
Amazon.
only way? All right.
Yeah.
Can you get a good deal for it? Like, how much they usually go for?
I think now it's probably down to like 25 bucks. When I pre-ordered it, I paid like 32, 33 bucks for it.
Yeah, I remember when it, that's crazy. I remember when it first came out, everybody was talking about it. I was like, I wish I could get it, but I can't.
Yeah, because everybody was getting it at different times that pre-ordered it.
I was like, I got this.
Get it.
I was like, I got this. But I don't got the
It's funny because I'm one of the first to pre-order it, and one of the last ones to get my copy.
I think I make I make a little bit more money now, so I'll be able to probably get it. More likely to get it now than I was then. But if I definitely find it for a good deal, I'm definitely gonna pick up the Crystal Lake Memories documentary. I really want to see it. So it's like a must. It's like a must own. For,
it's a must own. If you're a fan of the series, it's a must own.
Oh yeah, and by the way, I forgot to ask you guys this. Now I might ask RS Foreman this when he gets back. If he connects again, I'll ask him this. But Freddy versus Jason. Do you think it was a more Freddy movie than a Jason movie, or was it more of a Jason movie than a Freddy movie?
I think it was more of a Freddy movie because Freddy's trying to come back into the Elm Street world of Jason to do it. But Jason just won't quit killing, which leads to their battle.
Yeah.
So I look at it as more of a Freddy movie with Jason in it.
Yeah. I mean, that idea too. And I also think that it's more of a Freddy movie because, I mean, Jason, we got Robert Englund come back to play Freddy Krueger, but we did not get Kane Hodder to come back to play Jason. So we got this other guy playing Jason, and it's a completely new look for Jason. I mean, he's got these Frankenstein boots, the shredded clothes. It just didn't look right, in my opinion. And, you know.
They basically wanted one giant, one shorty.
Yeah, and he was slow, very, very slow. He just was like, boom, he would take forever to hit Freddy Krueger. Granted, when he hit him, he'd make him fly up in the air, but still, it's like it took him forever to fight back.
And there was actually a couple scenes that you could see the friggin' wires.
Yeah. And then they gave him hair, like a little bit of hair, not too much hair, but, you know, a little bit of hair.
Right.
Like, you know, I don't know. I just didn't care for it. I didn't care for it. I thought it was more of a Freddy movie than a Jason movie because.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, yeah, I mean, Jason did get the kills. He did get a lot of kills. But the thing is, like, you know, I don't know. Freddy Krueger, they got Robert Englund to come back. They got Robert Englund to come back to play Freddy Krueger, so they didn't get Kane Hodder to play Jason.
Right.
Hey, RS Horror Man, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that Freddy vs. Jason was more of a Jason movie, or was it more of a Freddy movie?
That's a good question. I'd say it was maybe more of a Freddy movie.
Yeah, that's what we said too.
It felt like they just like threw in Jason. It was like, okay, that's how Freddy, but throw in Jason. Like, it would have been different, say, if they had to take place at Camp Crystal Lake, which he been dead for like, I don't even know, it'd been a while. And then I remember they changed it to Camp Green Lake, and then they did that, and it was definitely more of a Freddy movie with Jason thrown in there. But yeah, they should have definitely casted Kane Hodder instead of that other guy, Ken Kirshner. Yeah, who also played in Joyride 3, which was a pretty good movie, and he did a good job in that. But and he was also in Part 8.
Yeah, he was also in Part 8. He got like thrown by Kane Hodder.
That was
it's like
really,
a little bit ironic. It's a little bit ironic that the actual Kane Hodder threw him across the freaking room.
That was great. He's like, the guy gets up off his seat to take care of him. He's like, son of a bitch. He throws him the table and hits the glass, and I'm just like, the mirror, and I'm like, man, this is great. And I'm like,
yeah, you missed my little talk about this documentary, dude. Crystal Lake Memories. 7 straight hours. 90 to 95% of the people involved in the series. 40 to 45 minutes spent on all 10 movies, actually all 11, plus the remake and the TV series. Plus a bonus disc if you pre-ordered it with 4 hours of extended interviews. Definitely worth it.
It's a massive documentary.
Yeah, a lot of features, right?
His name was Jason.
It beat Halloween 25 Years of Terror. It beat Nightmare on Elm Street documentary. It even beat its own documentary. It beat this documentary.
From the people that made the Nightmare documentary.
Yeah. So what did you think about the His Name Was Jason documentary, R. Sorman?
I thought it was okay at first, but it wasn't that good. At first I thought this was an actual Jason movie. I didn't know this was. I was like 10, so I didn't know. And then I was watching this, and I'm like, okay, there's Tom Savini. He's walking around. then it's the music ride and all this. I'm like, so when's Jason coming up? And then I realized it was a documentary, and I was like, oh man, this is just like Halloween 3 all over again. Oh man, I got mad. I'm like, oh come on, I felt ripped off. And then I finally saw Jason X. After that, that was like the last one I saw. And I'm like, I like that, but I don't know. His Name Was Jason documentary. It was okay, but it was kind of short, and like they did show some stuff like from there, but like on the second disc I didn't like because they had like Joe Lynch on there who had directed Wrong Turn 2, and I don't know, I was kind of like, why did they have him on here? And then they had the guy from it was like, what was it?
He had his own war website, the bald guy.
Yeah, or they had like and then they had like was one of the guys from like Dread Time Central, whatever that was.
Yeah, Dread Central.
Dread Central, yeah.
And then the guy kept on saying, homosexual shaving. And then the guy was bringing up the reference about, he's like, well, that very uncomfortable scene when he shaves the guy, and Jason goes out, homosexual shaving. And I'm just like, dude, shut up. It was I'm like, why is this guy on here? He had nothing to do with the franchise. I'm like, okay, Joe Lynch, one thing. Wasn't like Adam Green on that documentary?
Adam Green was on there from Hatchet. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that kind of made sense. I'm like, okay, but
random critics on there. I was like, these have nothing to do with the series. I'm like, why are they on here?
That's why
it was cool seeing.
Yeah.
Involved with the movies. It's the cast, the crew, the directors. It's everybody. Even down to the executive producer, Nick Mancuso Jr.
Yeah.
Dang, I really want to get that now. Have you seen that RS4, man?
No, I haven't actually. I still haven't seen it. I will probably get it. I've been trying to get it since it came out. I think it came out like 2-3 years ago, I think.
It came out in 2013.
Yeah.
I remember when it came out, everybody on YouTube was talking about it. I mean, to get it, and I was like, I don't have any money, so
that's what I was.
Yeah, and then like I said, they after that they made like box sets for every horror franchise. They did one for Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, the Blu-ray ones. They also did one for Leprechaun.
Chucky.
Yeah,
Chucky.
Yeah, Chucky.
I actually have it over there, the Chucky box set, which I might get. Hang on, I'll be right back. But yeah, here it is. It's this one.
Yeah, that.
I don't have it on Blu-ray, but it's really nice. It's really nice.
That's only one I have.
Give me this one right here. Good pictures and stuff. I don't get the Blu-ray set, but the DVDs will do. You know.
Yeah. I'm okay with Blu-ray, but Blu-ray's really gotten kind of.
I got this.
I get Blu-rays only for movies that deserve to get, you know. Oh, that's a cool one. I want to get that one too.
Yeah.
This one's just an awesome set.
Yeah.
I've only. You know what sucks though is I don't think we'll be able to get. You know what sucks though is I don't think we'll be able to get a Texas Chainsaw Massacre box set. You know, with all the films.
Too many companies.
Because there's all from different companies. Like Evil Dead. I mean, they're not making an Evil Dead box set.
Yeah, the first one was from Dark Sky Films, or at least the re-release. I don't know, but it was from Dark Sky Films. The second one was from MGM. The third one was
Canon.
from what?
New
Well,
Line.
Canon and then the Canon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fourth one was
New
from
Line.
New Line. The fifth one was from the remake and the
prequel.
Yeah, the
And then
prequel.
the second, and then the 3D one came out from Lionsgate. So
Yeah.
they're all from freaking different companies. So for
They're-
me being a fan of that franchise, it sucks because we're not gonna get a box
The
set.
first one was originally released by a company called Bryanston and then re-released by New Line.
Which Bryanston was a freaking mob company actually. They made a lot of adult films and then they
Yeah.
released that film. And a lot of backstory behind the first Texas Massacre.
And New Line picked it up.
Yeah, the New Line released it in like the 90s, right? The early 90s when they released it.
80s.
Oh, the 80s?
Early 80s.
Oh, the early
Yep,
80s.
like 1980.
Cool.
They released it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so we just got done talking about the entire Friday the 13th franchise. So thanks for joining the broadcast, guys. It's been an awesome broadcast, a great one. The surprise guest of RS Horror Man being on here again, man. Great seeing you back, man. And thanks for Andre for joining. And thanks for Horror Hunter.
Just let me know.
All right, we're definitely going to be doing some more of these in the future. Talk about other franchises as well. Maybe talk about the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, Halloween franchise, you know, stuff like that. But
Probably the Leprechaun franchise.
Yeah, we can do Leprechaun franchise as well.
Yeah.
So thanks for being in the videos, guys. This has been a great broadcast, and thanks, guys, for watching this broadcast.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, guys.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, so thanks for watching the broadcast, guys, and we will see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.